Oh, I got a save face.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, April 12th, 2018. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1024.
This is No Agenda.
Accepting cookie warnings that fill the page and broadcasting live from the Whorehouse Studios in the Garden of Amsterdam, live in Gitmo Nation Lowlands. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where everybody's kung fu fighting and they're fast as lightning, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Nice. Now, that one on the fly, or?
It came to me.
Nice. Nice when that happens. You get a good one like that.
Oh, yeah, that was a gem.
So every website...
Can't imagine being any funnier. Yes, go on.
Every
Sorry.
website...
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
You're in Holland and you went and you met the Queen.
And the King. Yeah, I did.
And then did you also go see any of the royalty there?
Oh, yeah. See, I don't have my noisemakers. I left them in the room.
Oh.
So I can't do my waka sounds.
I thought all of them were virtual. I didn't know you actually had any.
No, the only thing I have is the bell. I just have a bell.
Well, you'll be playing that a lot today.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's top of the news here. I was headline news.
Oh, you should send some post some of the articles.
How about this? Google Adam Curry. You'll see it. So
Bing stuff.
You want to? You're right. What am I even thinking? I'm sorry. Bing it, baby. Is that what you want to start with? I mean, not that it's like top of the news in America.
Well, I think it gets it out of the way. I think people want to know.
All right. Yes, I was invited to the Uitblinkers lunch. And an Uitblinker means you are a sparkler, a twinkler, something that was you were a shiner, I guess a shiner, shining star.
That what it means in the United States. Outblinker means that you're a passed out drunk in the alley.
It's kind of the same thing in Holland, I think, except then you get to go visit the King and the Queen. So there are about 25 people, and these are people who won interesting awards or achieved such things as the fastest man to row across the ocean single-handedly.
What ocean?
The Atlantic Ocean. No, actually, I think he went around the world. Yeah, he did multiple oceans.
Wow.
Yeah.
That guy must have huge arms.
First of all, the guy was 7 feet tall. And it was a beast of a guy. But then there's a top cop who's done something heroic. And it was very multi-culty. So you had, actors, a couple of, like theater actors, not really that well known, but, it was obviously actually a very racist choice. The first black female to win a certain theater acting award. And it was almost presented like that. It's like, okay, how about just she was the actor who won the theater award? She was quite funny. Who else? Like the immigrant entrepreneur of the year, and then of course the Marconi Award winner. That's pretty much how it goes.
Okay, so far so good.
Yeah. So you get to
or
go.
Not.
Well, apparently this is a thing where people are, hoping that they're on the list. And of course, I didn't know anything about it, and they didn't really explain that until a couple of emails back and forth with the ladies of the court, the King and Queen's court. So I get there. It's very similar to my experience. I'm smacking. Yeah. Shut up. Let me get through it.
Okay.
If you're going to interrupt me on every little thing, save that.
No, I'm not going to interrupt you on every little thing. Just every other thing.
All right. Well, let me just have a sip then.
Onward.
You always do this. When I'm excited about telling story, you're always going to be a dick.
I'm trying to calm you down so you don't start smacking and saying weird things.
Well, I'll be first. It's very different from the British Royal Palace. If you recall, yes, I'm collecting my experiences. If you recall, when I went there was a big reception room and with all kinds of cool paintings. And this is really one of the palaces that I think they only do, the Dutch one, where they only do receptions. So I don't think the King and Queen stay there necessarily. So you go in, you go up the steps. It was kind of cool. They got the guards, and they immediately they put their swords up to their nose. There's a picture of that coming. Of course, I wasn't allowed to take any pictures inside. It's like, please, no pictures, no selfies.
Not?
No, they said no selfies.
Selfies is not the same as a picture.
But no pictures. Just don't take any pictures. There's a group photo at the end of the thing.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. So it was from 12 to 2. I get there at 11:30. They say hi to everybody. They take you up the marble staircase, and there's a little welcoming drink, and you got all the dudes in their little outfits. What would you call them? The henchmen who are serving drinks. And then they didn't explain any protocol, though I read the protocol book.
Let's back up and say, now I'm imagining there's a big table.
No, it's just standing, like a reception room.
Okay, you're just a cocktail party situation.
Yes, exactly. High top tables. I'm sorry, I'll try and do a better job. But still, it's one big white marble room with pillars and cocktail tables, high tops, and we're
high ceiling.
Very high ceiling. It's a palace. And, it's kind of empty. There's really nothing of any merit, no super art that I noticed. It's just, no big portraits, just kind of bland, kind of like a government function room. And the drinks, no alcohol. It was Coke.
Excuse me?
Not at the stand-up cocktail part.
So there's a cocktail party with no cocktails.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. But they had cassis. You know cassis?
Yeah, cassis.
Cassis. Yeah, we call it cassis here, which I hadn't had in years, so I had one of those. Then, I had looked at the protocol book because I think that's kind of proper. And the only rules kind of are you don't speak unless you're spoken to. You don't reach out your hand to shake their hand unless they do it. They reach out to yours. If the king or queen stands up, you stand up. You wait until the king or queen says you can sit, and then you sit, and that's pretty much it. Well, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to be a good slave.
Of course you did. You look like an idiot if you didn't. But I just imagine all these people standing scared to death, stiff.
Well, so we're not really told anything, but please stand in a big U formation. All right, in a big U formation. In a moment, the king and queen will come out, and they will go around and they'll say hi to everybody. And I was number 2. And then
who's number 1?
Some business guy who I knew. I'd met him a long time ago. He'd won some business innovation award. It's kind of like you got an award, you can get to see the king and the queen. It's got to be a funky one.
Yeah, okay.
So they come in, and first the king, and he says, "Oh, I'm so happy to meet you in person finally." I was a little flabbergasted, really. I was like, "It was nice to see you in person too, Majesty." Oh yeah, you have to say Majesty, Majestat. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of nice. And then the queen, I
think you should have roiled over that one.
What do you mean roiled?
Oh, R-O-I-L. You should have. I wouldn't. I don't. Okay.
But what do you say?
Something Americans should not put up with this sort of majesty thing. It's like, oh, great leader. I wonder if Kim Jong-un expects that from Dennis Rodman. I don't think so. Maybe he does. I don't know.
Well, I think that after this first meeting, next time I see the king, we might be able to hang out a little bit more informally.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, hey, Wim Lex. The queen, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And all right, then go around, and then the king just said, "Oh, it's great to have everybody here, and I'm glad it's a small company. We'll go in. We'll make sure we sit with all of you, and let's have a nice lunch." And so the doors open.
There's lunch.
Yes, there's lunch. The doors open, and there are 4 round tables. And I had my seating assignment. I was sitting right next to the king, and the king was at table 1, and then you had the queen was at table 3. And the idea was after the main course,
they roam around.
Then they switch. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, don't they have 4 tables? They also have 2 empty seats, and the other tables they sit there once in a while.
No, they had 2 of the ladies. The ladies in waiting. Whatever you call
hold
them.
on a second.
Kind of business ladies.
You're telling me that 2 of the tables never had a visit from the queen or the king?
No. No, they switched. So the other 2.
So they went to every table. Okay.
Yeah. So,
but there was no blank. There was no blank seats left for them.
No,
they had some stooge in their place.
Well, not a stooge,
a seat person, like in the Oscars.
No. The ladies who are in charge of the social calendar. They're very highly educated, well-spoken, fashionably dressed women who. Are
just
very.
Sat there, yeah.
No, they keep you busy. They animate you. They keep you totally engaged, and they can answer all questions.
But they do leave those seats, and the king sits there eventually.
Yeah. So you either got the king or the queen, not both.
What was the? Well, of course. What was the rotation time? Was it 15 minutes?
No,
was it 10 minutes?
One rotation, and it was after the main course. So I really got the king a long time.
What do you mean there was only one? I thought there has to be 4 rotations.
Oh, okay. The king at one table, the queen at another table, the 2 ladies are at the other tables. Then the king and the queen go to the tables where the ladies are at. So you either get a king or a queen.
Oh, so in other words,
are you with me?
There's one rotation. The rotation is just you get a king or a queen.
Yeah.
You don't get the king and the queen.
No, exactly.
Oh, that stinks.
Not if you're at table 1 next to the king, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, no, it's fine for you, but you never got to sit next to the queen.
Well,
or chat up.
I chatted up the queen for 20 minutes, but if you let me get through the story.
But she wasn't at the table.
It was better than that. Let me get through the story.
All right. I don't care about you. I'm sympathizing with the guests who got screwed in this deal.
Yes. If you were a guest who started off with a lady in waiting and then you got the queen, I think you got gypped. Yeah, I agree. Yes.
That's what I'm getting.
And I believe there was a hierarchy in all this, just looking at the seating arrangement. I was next to the king.
Yeah, you've made that clear.
And so we're all standing, and the king is standing, and he's waiting for everyone to come in. Everyone's behind their chairs, and the king says, please, everyone, please have a seat, have a seat. I'll sit down in a minute. Yeah, he's nice. Oh, okay, the king's kind of cool. So we all sit down, and there's a menu, and I took a picture of the menu. Actually, I took the menu home, but I took a picture of it if you're interested in the menu.
I think you posted it.
I certainly didn't.
Oh, well, then you sent a copy to me.
Yes, I did. Maybe. Really for the wine. Did you see the wine they served?
No, I don't remember it.
Roulis Premier Cru Raboursé, Olivier Leflaive, 2014.
Leflaive Roulis. Was that the white wine?
Yeah, white wine, and it was it felt a little champagne-y, little
petulant.
Is that the word? Petulant.
Yeah, it has a few bubbles.
Yeah. Petulant. That's exactly what I liked it.
Well, because the maker of that wine, Leflaive, is one of the top growers, period.
The Flavor Flav? Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav. He's the guy who's the top grower in Burgundy of whites in particular.
Because I looked it up, and the bottle is only like 35 euros or something. It's not crazy expensive.
No, it's a cheapie. Considering you're at an event with a king, but it is a cheap wine. I mean, it's not. What he should have served was a Montrachet.
What a douche!
But no, he served you a cheap Roulis.
Believe me, this will get out. What is that again? What was he supposed to serve?
Montrachet.
Montrachet? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll write him an email.
Le Montrachet, to be exact.
Okay. Le Montrachet. Good. I'll send him a note. The food was
they
nice.
Can afford it. It seems to me maybe they're on a budget.
Maybe this is
what was the red wine? I don't remember.
No, there was no red wine.
Oh, it's just the cheap white. That was that.
The cheap white from one of the best winemakers. But
it was definitely from one of the best winemakers. I will say that would be kind of a house wine at this place here that I'm living.
Yeah.
No offense to the king.
You know what? I think it is the absolute. It really shows you the Dutch. I'm going to get something from the best winemaker, and I'm going to make it really cheap. That is that's Dutch all the way. I have nothing but respect for the choice.
Okay. Well, if it was tasty, it was tasty. That's all that really counts at the end of the whole process.
I liked it. I liked it very much. They kept serving it. Yeah, your glass was half empty.
Oh, that's a plus.
Oh yeah. The guys bloop 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 right away. They kept serving it. They started off, and it was beautiful. I mean, it looked fantastic. I wouldn't say it was a great meal. It was kind of basic, but when you have lightly smoked dove with
dove. You ate dove?
Yeah. Dove. Yes.
We don't eat dove in this country.
Well, maybe it pairs well with cheap wine.
Cheap whites.
Cheap whites. It pairs great. We had what is this? Bird cream? I have no idea what bird cream is.
Some of it landed on my car the other day.
With horseradish shots. It actually says shots. Red beet, apple, mabre, whatever that is. So, it's just like a cute little. It was beautiful. It was twirly,
What's the
twisty.
lunch? What do you expect?
Yeah, but it's, curly, twisty. It looked nice. It was art. It was art on the plate. And then we had, what is tarbo? What fish is that? What is that in English?
I thought it was what they call a turbo here.
Turbo? Okay, yeah. With a light sauce of beurre noisette, sugar snaps. It literally says sugar snaps on the
butter?
menu. No, yeah, maybe. Sugar snaps,
walnut butter.
Yellow squash, gnocchi made of potatoes and peas.
Peas in the... Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, they're fried. They were deep fried, too. Yeah, it was good.
I like that one.
What was odd about it is that so they had the big plate with the main course on it, and they go to the king, and the king, he grabs the utensils, the serving fork and spoon, and he puts everything on his plate. They weren't serving, and then so it went around. Everyone picked up the same, serving things, which is really uncomfortable.
Boy, that sounds really lame.
Yeah, because and the guy was on my left, and I'm not. I know it's a weird stance. Like I just don't want to drop this piece of fish everywhere. I just want to transfer it onto the plate properly. It was very strange. I'm not sure why that etiquette is there.
Probably some socialist concept. The people should be doing more work. Something like that. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, probably. Dessert was very interesting. It was a lemon curd marinated with marinated avocado and lemon curd and guacamole with vanilla ice cream.
Hold on a second. Say the whole thing over again. For some reason I short-circuited.
Yes, I know. I'm translating on the fly, but I'm still better than Google Translate. Marinated avocado with lemon curd, guacamole, and vanilla ice cream.
I heard the word avocado. I think you must be mistranslating it.
Why?
What would you serve? Marinated avocado, which sounds like some herring.
No, marinated in vinegar, oil and vinegar. So the way you would...
Okay, so it's actually an avocado like in the salad.
Yes.
With oil and vinegar.
Yes.
And then lemon curd.
Yes.
On top of that.
With guacamole.
And then what else?
Vanilla ice cream.
Oh, my God.
It was dynamite.
I find that so hard to believe.
Yeah, well, you got to try it. It was really...
Well, it's nothing I'm going to try, I can assure you. But
it's because I like sweet and sour. I like sweet and sour chicken.
Yeah, everybody likes sweet and sour, but this is a combination of avocado and ice cream itself is weird.
Yeah. No, it looked weird on the plate. I'll give you that.
I'll bet it did. I can almost visualize it. It's like, what?
What was nice?
And the lemon curd. What's the point?
I don't know. Decoration, maybe.
Was there whipped cream?
No, I don't recall. I don't think so. It doesn't say so I don't think so. Nice detail was people who had ordered vegetarian or I think vegan.
Ugh.
Yeah. They had a whole separate menu, separate courses, just as beautifully made. It was nice. That was a nice touch. Anyway,
except for the removal of the flavor.
Right. It was part of the deal. So the king, he did a little speech for everybody. He says, and what was nice about it is he said, in Holland, we have a tradition, and you and I have spoken about this many times. You never want to grow higher than the other blades of grass because you get your head chopped off. He said, we're changing that, and we want to celebrate people.
They always say that. They say that in Sweden, too.
We want to celebrate everybody who has done something special.
Yeah.
And
by punishing them.
So he goes around the table. Now I'm last in line because he went counterclockwise, and he just started. He was very well informed and knew who everybody was and was asking questions. I have to say, he stayed a little too long with actually the rowing guy that just went on. People were kind of interested in him because he was at sea for 60 days or so. It's just an incredible story. And at a certain point, the king even said,
I'm sure the women were gathered around
him.
Oh,
yeah. They loved him. Then he, handsome, 7-foot tall beast.
Yeah, who's been at sea for years.
Yes.
There's all kinds of possibilities here.
This guy. Even the king was like, okay, well, that was great. And then we're moving on. We have some other things to talk about. And he's going around. And then it comes to me. I said, well, Majesty, I can't say I've done the same that many of these people at the table have done for the country. But at least I taught everybody how to pronounce Madonna properly. This got a laugh. And
you got to laugh at the king.
Yeah, well, the king was like, yeah, but we know what you've been doing with podcasting. We know what you've been doing with digital media. And I was like, yeah. And he said, what was he talking about? Well, anyway, about the success of podcasting. And then the actress, she very inappropriately, but for some reason, she says, "Oh, are you a millionaire?" And I'm like,
what?
Yeah, it was.
What is she talking about?
I don't know. But, because, it was like all this stuff, and the king was talking about how the awesomeness of me. And before I can say anything.
And even so, it's what a thing to ask somebody.
Very inappropriate. I'm sure that she regretted it, but
she did.
Before I could say anything, the king jumps in and he says, of course he's a millionaire because he was a billionaire and then he got into aviation with that helicopter company.
Wow.
Oh, man. Now, he's a pilot. He flies.
He gave you the needle there.
Oh, but it was pilot humor because he flies.
It's pretty standard practice.
It's fantastic.
Exactly yeah.
And he flies for KLM whenever he wants to. And he would actually tell me, I try to fly 3 times a week. He goes on regular, round trips to Denmark or some other, within the EU, mostly 737s. And I try to get in 3 flights a week. And let me just see here. I wrote down my notes. Let's see what else. But first of all, just the guy was just really nice and funny and not at all stuck up. Which I kind of expected a little bit of that. Maybe I thought maybe be kind of dumb. That is a little bit the impression that is built around him. Prince Pills. Like the drunk guy who's always hanging out at parties. So I found him to be very knowledgeable. He said something interesting. We were talking about and this was just a table discussion about worldly events. And he said, "Yeah, we're very proud of Holland. We've never had an attack here, and that really shows you what a great country you are." And I was like, "Oh man, shut up, Curry! Shut up! I just shut up, Curry! Shut up! I'm just not going to say anything at all." So then, but it's great. I like this guy. We were joking about all kinds of stuff. He's very funny. Oh yeah, at one point, I can't remember how it came up, but I said, up until this lunch, Majesty, the most impressive meeting I ever had was Steve Jobs. And he says, "Oh man, things must be not going too well with Steve Jobs." I said, "No, it didn't end up very well." I think he kind of realized when I said that he put his foot in it. But yeah, the guy, that was a little payback there for the aviation joke. The guy was nice. I like him. Good king, very informed.
You going to call him up and say, give a chat once a week? Give him a call?
Well, hold on.
Did you get his number? Did you get his cell? Did you get his
It's not over. It's not over. So then I see the lady out of the corner of my eye. She's coming over. It's time for the switch. I'm like, okay. And I said, "Hey, King, it's time for the switch." He said, "Yep, we got to go sit with someone else and be nice over there." And so I get up as the king gets up because I'd read the protocol book. Everyone else stays seated.
You knocked it out of the park with that little move.
Oh, yeah. And the king says,
You read the protocol book and you knew that you're supposed to stand.
And it gets better because the king says, no, sit down. I said, "I read the protocol book. I'm supposed to stand up." He says, "You're the only one." And he comes over, he hugs me. I'm blown away.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was cool. Now, so then one of the ladies in waiting is sitting there and we're chatting with her. And I say, "Can I steal this fork?" She said, no, you can't take anything. I said, "Really?" I said, "No. You got any towels?" No, nothing you can take. So I did try. I wanted to be honest about it. So I was allowed to take the menu. Oh, great. And then
should I steal this fork?
Yeah, they were beautiful. It was nice flatware.
Yeah,
I know my
flatware. They didn't want you taking it.
Yeah, it was nice flatware. All right, so then we're.
They should have here. You should send something to the suggestion box. And I think this is a good idea because I know when you go to the White House, there's all kinds of little souvenirs you can
steal stuff. Yeah, like matches,
books and matches, and all kinds of things. I think they should have a souvenir fork.
Yes, Yes.
Modeled after the real fork and have a bunch of nonsense kind of engraved on it.
Yeah, a little. Yeah. Oh,
and in a little presentation box.
Yeah, have the date on it. Exactly.
Did you get anything like that?
No.
A ring around the head, a medal to hang off your chest.
No.
Anything like that?
No, I think they send us a framed photo of the group photo.
Oh, that stinks. That's like getting a little eighth grade Mrs. Rose.
Then we walk out for coffee. And coffee, we're back in the cocktail reception area. And the king and queen are just mingling. And the queen comes over, and I'm talking with her for 20 minutes. Just drinking coffee. And she's very tall. And I'd say, well, she had 5-inch heels on. I looked very closely at what she was wearing because I know I had to report to a number of women in my life. I mean, she's a very charming woman. Deep brown eyes, lots of wrinkles around the eyes, very little makeup, if maybe just a base, almost nothing. Hair, this was not a big public event. I don't even know if she washed it. It looks stringy. No, I'm being honest. I'm being honest. Yeah, a little bit like a hippie girl. And by the way, about halfway through this 20 minutes, there was a hair flip. I just want to say. I'm like, oh, hair flip. Gray.
Yeah, I'm glad you noted that. That's good.
Was right next to me.
Did she hit you in the face with her hand or anything in the process?
No. There was so she was wearing a gray pencil skirt. What bugged me was the jacket.
These details aren't.
Yeah, there are women who listen to the show, John. Think about the demo.
The demo.
Just for a second.
Okay, she was wearing a gray pencil skirt.
Yeah, the problem was the jacket was so ill.
How many pencils does it make?
So ill-fitting in the back that it was like she was holding her shoulder blades back, and it was kind of perched back.
This is unacceptable.
It was. It's like no one looked at her and said, "Nah, that jacket's no good." Only vintage jewelry, very understated, but not really pretty. Just looked like old grandma's old stuff. I'm sure it was grandma's old stuff. The old queen.
It was grandma's old
sure.
stuff.
But, nothing like mind-boggling. Just, I was like, what wasn't really spectacular. That's just me. So then, but listen.
Decadent.
And she says, how's your daughter? She's great. Yeah. Then she's doing all kinds of fun things, and with comparing notes as parents about, my daughters, they're now 15, think they know everything, and he says, and your girlfriend or his wife, girlfriend, she works at Ronald McDonald House. Yeah, she runs the whole thing. So yeah, and she knew all this stuff, all these details.
Yeah, they had a dossier open.
Yeah.
The two of them got together before the thing. I said, "What do you think we should talk about with these idiots?"
Well, I think they must.
I don't know. Let's see what we got here.
I'm hoping.
Look at this. Well, this Curry guy's kind of interesting.
And then we all threw the Illuminati triangle, and we went downstairs for the group's photo. And this is what I missed. I guess people knew about the group photo. Because everyone's like, well, I was chatting with the queen, and then all of a sudden, pretty much everyone's gone except me, the queen, and the king who's standing behind her. He says, Maxima, it's time for the group photo. And then, then we start walking downstairs. But of course, everyone ran down because if you're first, then you get to sit next to the king and the queen.
Yeah, but you get to hang out with them.
Right, but I didn't know about this. So we're walking down. Maxima goes down first. The king is walking next to me. We're still talking about flying. And so, of course, I'm stuck in the back behind what looks like a corpse. Some lady.
You're hanging out with a corpse?
No, she was in front of me. I'm not sure what her act was, but if you see the photo, it's like, where's Curry? Half of my head is obscured by a dated lady who looks like she's dead. I was like, oh, damn it. I didn't get the good photo. And, then we do the photos. And then it's, I tell you, it's 2 minutes to 2. Everything's like clockwork. And then everyone says goodbye. And then you're out on the street.
Huh. And sounds like a good afternoon.
It was a great afternoon. I had a lot of fun. I did. And I appreciate it. It made me look like a superhero here. People can't believe it. Everybody wants to know, what were they like? It's very odd. That's the oddest part.
I think, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think, did you get his number? A question I asked earlier. You told me that you were going to answer that, but you never did.
I do not have his number, but my feeling is I could probably reach out to him and at least give him the fork idea.
Fork idea would be good.
Yeah, but I think they would appreciate that. You know why? I have a feeling if I send them the fork idea, they might just send me a fork.
Well, that's good too.
Yeah,
that works for you.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think you two should hang out.
I'd like to. Yeah.
You could corrupt them with no agenda stuff.
Oh my God. I had to bite my tongue. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. It's better to have a 30-minute story on the show than to, be thrown out of the palace.
Get thrown out of the place.
Exactly.
Guards, take him away.
Hey, did anything else happen?
Yeah, Zuck.
I watched all of it. I watched all of it. I'm glad you got. I got a few clips I thought were important.
A few clips. The clips were no good. He's no good. I mean, most of the times, Waze is saying senator and congressman. Somebody asked him a question. Well, senator, congressman. He got so robotic about it that when he started to talk about to a woman, he said, "Congressman, I mean congresswoman. Congressman, I mean congresswoman."
I was actually thinking we should address each other whenever we talk, like podcaster. Let me tell you about what's happening in the news.
Yeah,
you just want to call each other podcaster.
Podcaster.
Hey, podcaster.
So I used the phrase Zucky.
Yes.
And I didn't get this on. I really am remiss for not catching this, but during the live online feed.
Yes.
Savannah Guthrie called him that.
I saw this catch on in other places. I thought you had gotten it from somewhere else. I thought, no, that's not like you.
That's where I got it from. I got it when I heard Savannah Guthrie say it, and I didn't get it on, and I was really irked that I hadn't have a recorder running because it was live stream, and there's no way of backing it up or anything.
I hate it when that happens.
And so she says Zucky. I'm thinking, what?
Zucky.
Who calls him Zucky?
What kind of news person are you when you do that? Isn't there some kind of ethics? Isn't there some kind of ethics rule against doing that as a journo?
Well, we've been catching a lot of these guys saying weird stuff, Insta and things like that. So I think journalism is out of control.
Well, it's also part of the abreves.
I think it is part of the abreves. But Zucky, I mean, Zuck is what most
Zuck
people.
Zuck is the abreve, yeah.
Yeah, that's the abreve. In fact, I do want to start off with this. I thought this was I only found this in Vogue magazine. They were right, and apparently it appeared in the 2010 New Yorker profile. Apparently, around 2004, one of his pals saved his DMs, and they gave it to the New Yorker for this profile in 2010. And it was about when he first started off the face bag, and the conversation was over text message went as follows. Zuck, after telling this pal of his that he's starting this thing up, he's got all these different people at Harvard that are signed in. He says, yeah, so if you ever need info about anyone at Harvard, just ask. I have over 4,000 emails, pictures, addresses, SMS. The friend says, what? How did you manage that one? Zuck says, people just submitted it. I don't know why. They, quote unquote, trust me, dumb fucks.
You've never seen this? I've seen this around.
Well, I haven't seen it before. And so this is going around in Vogue magazine reprised it. And I saw and I thought, this is kind of summarizes the whole thing to me.
Yeah.
And it has to be kind of taken. I'm sure that's exactly what he was thinking. He was saying, look at what's going on. It's because it's all happening. And after his face mash, this is what he got busted for that or something. I probably got called in. And there was one of the congressmen did ask about face mash. And I like the way Zuckerberg, he's very well briefed. unfortunately, he was so well briefed that they convinced him to say senator and congressman and senator and congressman.
Well, he was also using that for thinking time.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
That and his at Facebook. He was spending a lot of time. But let's listen to the face for people out there who don't know about this. Zuckerberg does a very good job of continually referring to it as a prank when it wasn't a prank. It was yeah. I'm sorry. Go on. I was thinking it was more like he could have evolved that into hot or not hot. But
yeah.
Before I go into my question, what was Face Smash, and is it still up and running?
No, Congressman. Face Smash was a prank website that I launched in college in my dorm room before I started Facebook. There was a movie about this, or it said it was about this. It was of unclear truth. And that claimed that Face Smash was somehow connected to the development of Facebook. It isn't. It wasn't.
Just coincidental. The timing was the same, right? Just coincidental?
It was in 200003.
Okay.
And I took it down, and it actually has nothing to do with it.
You put up pictures of two women and decide which one was the better, more attractive of the two. Is that right?
Congressman, that is an accurate description of the prank website that I made when I was a stalker.
Just before we go any further, just some general observations.
Oh, baby, and before we go any further, did you get the spreadsheet from Eric?
Yes.
I didn't. You can forward it to me, please.
Okay. All right. Some general observations. The dude's in a suit. Let's just start with that.
Yes, and he's sitting up very straight.
Well, that's kind of his deal.
Yeah, he's just straight. He's straight.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
I can't sit up any straighter than this.
The dude is also clearly on the spectrum. We knew this, but
the dude.
Yeah, he's a dude. But I would say the general atmosphere. And by the way, the woman in the green behind him who was signaling and laughing and smirking and very distracting.
She was a scene stealer.
Yeah, she must have been one of the lawyers. I'm kind of guessing. And yeah, just, I don't know. She was just kind of annoying.
Very annoying. Very annoying.
Yes. And then the whole kind of the chuckling, the laughing. What is it with people who have a lot of money? Because I think that's the only thing really. The incredible wealth of Zuckerberg must be the main thing why people are just.
And which was achieved in less than 15 years.
Well, yeah, there's that.
It's like, what? Okay.
I just found it in general, just to hear everyone always, whenever he said something that, it's a situation where the crowd is continuously looking for the laugh. You know what I mean? The crowd is so jacked up.
Yes, I noticed this, and I've seen it before, and I think you're dead on. It's got something to do with, it's some sickness, and I can't put my finger on why everybody's
so giddy.
Why everybody's doing that, but they do that. It's like I think it's a throwback to tribal era or something, when somebody was like one of these guys that had a lot of power. Zuckerberg has a lot of power.
It could be, yeah, and of course, money is one part of the power equation.
Yes, money, and then running this company is another part.
I guess the same reason I'm all giddy about the king, really.
Yeah, you were all jacked up there.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so I
don't blame you.
I recognize the fallacy.
It was a kick. You had to have it was got to have been fun.
Except the king,
you never know it. I doubt it, by the way.
Except
you could be buddies with that guy.
Sure. Yeah, I used to actually have to send money to him in taxes. This is not exactly a friend in that regard. Hey, man,
get your hand out of my pocket.
But otherwise, yeah, I can see we could be buddies. I don't know about Zucky.
I think it'd be funny if you got together with the king, and then you guys decided, and he says to you, "Is there any way you can introduce me to Patricia?"
Oh, God. All right. You are the worst. You are the worst. Okay.
Right.
Any more? No, those observations. Yeah, that and. But did you get the picture of his notes? Somehow.
No, I saw the article about it, but for some reason I got distracted and I never looked at the picture of the notes.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
they were put together by the people behind him.
Yes, it's in the show notes, nashownotes.com. But the only thing that was really interesting about those notes, is under GDPR, the Global Data Protection regulations, which are now in effect in the EU, which we'll talk about in a bit. He, on his paper, it said specifically, do not say we are already implementing GDPR, or, because it came up somewhere, and someone said, well, what do you think of the Europeans? Yeah, the Europeans get it right. Everyone's
it did
laughing.
come up a couple times.
Yeah, everyone's laughing about it. But he specifically had in his notes, do not say, hey, we're already doing all this stuff. Then, and he steered away from that. You know what? Above all, for the dude's age, and just, I think he did a pretty good job, really.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
I'll say that, but it's still creepy, and the whole
He's
thing
still
is
a creep. Yeah, of course. But if it were me, first of all, think about the Tourette's that would be going on there.
Oh yeah, it'd be great.
No one will understand what I'm saying. Like, we're too distracted. We can't understand you.
What the hell's wrong with this guy?
He's got to be just guilty. Take him away.
Well, let's back it up a little bit and do a story that just came out. Because this is a California story, and I want to play it so we know what's going. Because all these companies have to deal with California.
Yep.
Pretty much like they're going to have to deal with
the new California law.
Yes.
Oh,
and this is like the EU, when the EU blazed because of the internet. If it goes into California, you have to obey California law. So you can't make a California version.
No.
You can't make a European version. You do one thing. So okay, whatever you want us to do, we have to do it everywhere. And here, let's play this Zucky California Privacy Act.
We have some new details tonight about Facebook's About Face.
The social media giant announced late today it no longer opposes a ballot measure that would give consumers more privacy protection.
ABC 7 News reporter Katie Marzullo has the story.
Facebook has dropped its opposition to the California Consumer Privacy Act. In a statement, a company spokesperson said, "We took this step in order to focus our efforts on supporting reasonable privacy measures in California."
Sorry.
We talked with the president of the Californians for Consumer Privacy via Skype.
Facebook has seen the light, and they realize that consumers are demanding privacy now. And I am hoping that some of these other corporations follow suit.
The Privacy Act would let people see what personal information businesses are collecting and allow consumers to tell corporations not to sell their information. Companies including Google continue to oppose the measure through the Committee to Protect California Jobs. In reaction to Facebook dropping out, a committee spokesperson said in a statement, "It is unsurprising that proponents of the so-called California Consumer Privacy Act are looking to distract from their deeply flawed initiative that will do enormous harm to the California economy while not protecting anyone's privacy." Professor Larry Sokolov said this is a fascinating time.
People are aware that they've given something up, and now they're trying to figure out what they want back.
Proponents of the Privacy Act are still collecting signatures. They'll learn in June if the measure qualifies for the November ballot. In San Jose, Katie Marzullo, ABC 7 News.
Okay, let me get this straight. So what you kind of said in your intro is that because of the EU, which, as we know, is run by the Germans, it's the German Reich.
The German Empire.
The German Empire.
We'll call it the New German Empire.
New German, yeah, yes, NGE.
NGE, yeah.
The new German,
I like it.
Yeah, the New German Empire. And California is modeling itself, because of the companies there, after the New German Empire.
Of course.
They were right all along. I can't believe I still have this clip. But it doesn't get to the hook fast enough.
No, it doesn't.
All right. Anyway, the dead Kennedys knew a long time ago. California, über alles!
There's a key in my back, Nancy.
All right.
Now, a couple of things about that clip. One is Google proves itself to be the douchebags that they are.
Yeah.
Not realize. I hope they watch this because they're next in line.
Oh, for sure. They better be.
And this Committee to Protect California Jobs, or this whatever it's called, this act, the Committee to Protect California Jobs is against this Privacy Act thing, saying that it'll kill jobs and it'll ruin the economy. It makes no sense it probably won't kill jobs. It'll probably add jobs because you need more jobs that take care of these consumer complaints, or they want to have their data and all the rest of it. You can get your data off of Facebook, which Zucky made a big point about in his hearings. You can't do that with Google.
Well, the difference is, and it's very interesting to be here in the EUs at this moment, because they just now are everyone's going to have to start to comply with the global data protection regulations. And any website that I go to, actually, I did not sign into Google specifically so I could tell you the experience. If I go to google.com right now on a browser that I haven't used first, I can't actually search for anything. It said, I get a big pop-up in the middle of the screen. It says, before you continue, to be consistent with data protection laws, we're asking you to take a moment to review key points of Google's privacy policy. This isn't about a change we've made. It's just a chance to review some key points. We need you to do this in order to continue to use Google services. Next. Click next. A privacy reminder, and then...
They did that. Wait a minute. They did that here recently, because I went through the same exact thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't had this happen because I've been using this in the U.S., and it hadn't happened. This is data we process when you use Google, why we process it, combining data. Then there's this whole thing, learn how Google uses data to improve your experience. My favorite, improving my experience. And then how you decide, and now it gets complicated. Now there's more.
I like that.
Now, so then in order to now use Google services, I have to click I agree, but I would have to go and look at all these different links, and then tip. If you sign into your Google account before agreeing, we'll remember your choice across all your signed-in devices and browsers. I guess you can sign in, but you still can't use Google Search. And then there's other options, and then there's a whole bunch of other customizing settings, and it's just like, or I agree. So you know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same problem. This is a problem. The EU's got to put a stop to it. I think the one thing that I came away with, because a lot of people kept bringing it up, including Lindsey Graham, who took the EULA and I guess printed it out.
Yeah, I saw that.
15-point type or something, so it's really huge. And is to get rid of this EULA and the whole way it operates.
Well, I think a lot of the senators were focused on that very point.
I think a lot of them were, and some of the congressmen. But the congressmen were a little more interesting because they would bring stuff up. Another thing that's got to change, I should mention, is this time limitation on these speakers.
Yeah,
it's like I can't. Let me ask you a question now. What you got to do? I'm going to know. Can you do anything about this situation? A, B, and C. Don't answer that because I'm running out of time. So what do you? And so they just go on to harangue.
Well, how about this? They need to limit the number of people who are questioning. That was the problem. There were too many
never
people.
Going to happen. What they can do is they can limit them to 1 minute of questions. But their time isn't used up by the answer.
Well, I don't know.
Unless you want to recover your time, reclaim your time.
Yeah, but Zuckerberg would always say, the basic service is people want to share, they upload their photos, but he would keep going back to that. And then, at a certain point.
Oh, no, he had talking points.
Yeah, filibustering. It's like, okay, we get it. That's not the data we're talking about. We're talking about some very different Can I just play 2 clips?
Go play it.
Okay, this is Blackburn. Senator Blackburn talking about censorship first. These were just the things that I thought were kind of decent questions and with an answer that interests us.
We've done one hearing on algorithms. I chair Communications and Technology Subcommittee here. We're getting ready to do a second one on algorithms. We're going to do one next week on prioritization. So I'd like to ask you, do you subjectively manipulate your algorithms to prioritize or censor speech?
See, nice. Finally, someone's asking some real questions.
Congresswoman, we don't think about what we're doing as censoring speech. I think that there are...
That's a great answer. We don't think about what we're doing as killing people. We think about it as human resource management.
There are types of content like terrorism that I think that we all agree we do not want to have on our service.
If I heard this once, I heard it 1,000 times.
Because that was his talking points. It's literally on the picture. Talk about terrorism and sex trafficking.
Terrorism that I think that we all agree we do not want to have on our service. So we build systems that can identify those and can remove that content, and we're very proud of that work.
Let me tell you something right now. Diamond and Silk is not terrorism.
Now, before I play the next clip, very disappointing to me because it's just accepted like it's the most normal thing in the world. But we have AI tools. Our AI tools. Excuse me, Mr. Zuckerberg. Zucky. Can you explain what AI tools are and how they work and what they do? Because all I hear is your AI tools aren't working and you're hiring 20,000 people to be your AI tools. We cannot accept this bull crap. We have
like
AI.
Glitch.
You don't have AI. You don't have it.
No, they don't. Nobody does.
Skip Logic is the best you have. Here's Blackburn with, I think, a perfect analogy.
I like that. By the way, she's not the only one who defended Diamond and Silk.
I know. But she was, without defending them, she was saying, hey, they're not terrorism. So, what is your problem? And when I got into, well, of course, we don't want hate speech. Well, we have AI tools for hate speech. I mean, this is a really deep conversation that needs to take place out. I mean, these idiots don't know anything about it. As far as I'm concerned, it's not really real other than skip logic trees. There's a little magical neuron and it identified something. Sure. But hate speech, are you kidding me? This is the most subjective thing in the world. But yet your AI tools are going to do this without bias. I mean, it just doesn't exist to my knowledge. And I think I'm pretty knowledgeable about it. Your tech press has failed you, people. The tech horny have only been jacking off to the iPhones, have never actually told you about anything that's happening. And Blackburn understands it.
Mr. Zuckerberg, I tell you, I think your cozy community, as Dr. Mark Jameson recently said, is beginning to look a whole lot like The Truman Show, where people's identities and relationships are made available to people that they don't know.
See, this is a very good analogy. This, I think, helps people understand, if they've seen The Truman Show, which I just recently rewatched, like, wait a minute. So it's like having a whole audience who can see everything I'm doing, the people I'm talking to, the relationships, except this audience is, I don't know, advertisers, intelligence, who knows?
And then that data is crunched, and it is used, and they are fully unaware.
Okay,
Crunched.
I'm sorry, that's unacceptable, Blackburn. I mean, I know what you're trying to do for your constituents and all that, but that's as bad as saying glitch. Yes, and then the data is crunched. Okay.
Beginning to look a whole lot like The Truman Show.
Rewinded too far.
Where people's identities and relationships are made available to people that they don't know. And then that data is crunched and it is used, and they're fully unaware of this. So I've got to ask you, I think what we're getting to here is, who owns the virtual you? Who owns your presence online? And I'd like for you to comment. Who do you think owns an individual's presence online? Who owns their virtual you? Is it you or is it them?
Congresswoman, I believe that everyone owns their own content online. And that's the first line of our terms of service.
See, again, he's going straight to, you own your own, your content, sure. But she asked specifically about the crunched, the data. Hey, the new from Crunch Bar.
If you read it, it says that.
And where does privacy rank as a corporate value for Facebook?
Congresswoman, giving people control of their information and how they want to set their privacy is foundational to the whole service. It's not just a kind of an add-on feature or something we have to comply with.
Well,
the reality is, if you have a photo, if you just think about this in your day-to-day life.
I can't let you filibuster right now. A constituent of mine who's a benefits manager brought up a great question in a meeting at her company last week. And she said, healthcare, you've got HIPAA, you've got Gramm-Leach-Bliley, you've got the Fair Credit Reporting Act. These are all compliance documents for privacy. For other sectors of the industry, she was stunned that there are no privacy documents that apply to you all. And we've heard people say that, and you've said you're considering maybe you need more regulation. What we think is we need for you to look at new legislation. And you're hearing there will be more bills brought out in the next few weeks, but we have had a bill, the Browser Act, and I'm certain that you're familiar with this. It's bipartisan, and I thank Mr. Lipinski and Mr. Lance and Mr. Flores for their good work on this legislation. We've had it for over a year, and certainly we've been working on this issue for about 4 years. And will you commit to working with us to pass privacy legislation, to pass the Browser Act? Will you commit to doing that?
Congresswoman, I'm not directly familiar with the details of what you just said, but I certainly think that regulation in this area...
Let's get familiar with the details. As you have heard, we need some rules and regulations. This is only 13 pages. The Browser Act is 13 pages, so you can easily become familiar with it. And we would appreciate your help. And I've got to tell you, as Mr. Green just said, as you look at the EU privacy policies, you're already doing much of that. If you're doing everything you claim, because you will have to allow consumers to control their data, to change, to erase it. You have to give consumers opt-in.
And the Browser Act stands for Balancing the Rights of Web Surfers Equally and Responsibly. And it is 13 pages, very simple. It basically says anything that comes in or out of that browser, you should be able to delete on the server end, which is almost a technical impossibility, it seems. Well, not impossibility, but it just knowing what comes out and is logged and stored, crunched.
You should stop there and make a note. The government itself has demanded that people keep these logs and all the stuff that now they want to remove.
Well, you have to have the right to remove it, But really...
Well, the right to remove it doesn't mean it's going to get removed.
Okay,
because the government wants to keep this information for the Homeland Security folks and the intelligence agencies.
Sure.
So why don't these Congress people get their act together and realize what's going on here? It's got conflicting interests everywhere.
Well, we also have a responsibility, and I'm going to say that our responsibility is to have a browser that doesn't that doesn't blow all of our information out there. And this is why I like the Brave browser, because that's part of their idea, is keep all that information in and only give certain, then you at least have control over what you're giving them. You do have that control. And just because we accept Chrome and all these shitty browsers, but people use Google, people use Chrome, people use...
I use all Edge. The browsers, and I use Brave. I've been using Brave more often now that I recognize how it handles ad blocking.
Pretty good.
Now, I normally was using Firefox, but now I'm using Brave a little more because with Firefox, the ad blockers, which are somewhat of a scam because the ad blocking companies do deals.
Ghostery. They're an ad company.
Yes, an ad company. It's
an advertising
company. But they block ads, and then you go to certain publications. If you're going down to a news list to get some ideas, there's a lot of these. Actually, most of the newspapers. Hey, you're using an ad blocker. Hey, and then you have two options. Some Forbes.
Don't block on this page for this moment.
Forbes just cuts you out. No, you get rid of the ad blocker. We're not fooling around. With Brave, what Brave does is it somehow signals the publication that, hey, no, there's no ad blocker. No. And then it takes itself takes the ads and buries them someplace so you never see them. So it does some sort of a virtual ad blocking.
No, it proxies.
Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it proxies the actual TCP into the bit bucket, and so you just never see it.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's done.
All I know is I don't see the ads, and so the ads are gone, and it's but these guys think they're delivering the ads. So they're getting, which is again which is really something scamish about that, because now the poor company paying for these ads to be displayed, they're getting gypped.
What, there's scamming and advertising? I'm shocked. I tell you. Bye.
And hey, guess what I found out? Milk goes bad if you leave it out.
Shocked again, I tell you. Yeah. So
Brave has got the right idea.
That's our responsibility. It has issues, of course. It takes a while to build a good browser, but the idea they have behind it is we will crunch the numbers in our own browser, and then we'll make a set of what they call indications available to companies and advertisers, saying, okay, I'll give an indication if I'm interested in some kind of sports related thing, but it would never be the raw data. It would be our own version of what they use internally in their 1,000 points of light of data points. White male, old guy, straight, looks at sailboats. That's their data points, but we would have them. That's the thing. All you need is you need a lot more, but having our own browser that you control what you're sending. And this is the start where they already think they're serving you ads, and we're already effectively filtering them out. Win for us.
Works for me.
Yeah, watch that guy. Watch the CEO of the company get picked up for kiddie porn.
Oh, something. Yeah,
they're not going to stand for this. Yeah,
they're going to have to.
They're going to have to get something.
He should get some insurance.
Yes.
Anyway, back to the clips.
Yeah.
But she was good. There's another woman, I didn't get her name, I forgot it, but she's the one I think gave him the best hard time. This is the hostile congresswoman, and she just goes on and on. She just goes off on him, saying all kinds of crazy stuff. And every time he tries to respond, she just plows through it because she doesn't got time. Again, a flaw in the way this works.
You are collecting personal information on people who do not even have Facebook accounts. Isn't that right?
Congresswoman, I believe that
yes or no?
Congresswoman, I'm not sure. I don't think that that's what we're tracking.
I don't think that the average American really understands that today, something that fundamental. And that you're tracking everyone's online activities, their searches. You can track what people buy, correct?
Congresswoman,
you're collecting that data, what people purchase online.
Yes, flustered. If they share it with us, but Congresswoman,
because it has a share button, so it's gathering. Facebook has the application. In fact, you patented applications to do just that. Isn't that correct? To collect that data.
I don't think any of those buttons share transaction data.
You watch where we go. Senator Durbin had a funny question yesterday about where you're staying, and you didn't want to share that. But Facebook also gathers that data about where we travel. Isn't that correct?
Congresswoman, everyone has control over how that works.
And it goes on. But she did bring up the point. I thought
Stop. I just want to say something. That is not true. Because I have location sharing turned off. I went to College Station. Somehow that showed up on one of my places visited, which I had almost no data. Once in a while, there's one data point, and I guess they're getting it from Wi-Fi or wherever. But it's not true that I have the capability to turn that off. Lie.
Yeah, most of this was a lie. That was a lie, and you actually bitched about this already.
Yeah.
And she does point out, and a bunch of people, because I said I'm not a Facebook, me. Here's me. I'm not a Facebook user.
Perfect. You're perfect for Congress.
So I got 2 or 3 notes from some high-end dudes named Ben who said, hey, and one guy explained, he said, you're right, you're being tracked anyway.
Yeah.
If you ever touch the site, you're just coded with some hash code. They don't have your name, but if they get your name, they'll put it in there.
Canvas profiling.
And so that's what she was bitching about. She says people that aren't even Facebook users are being tracked by you douchebags.
Why didn't she say it like that?
I don't know. She should have said it like that.
You know what it is?
She was implying it.
No, but here's the problem. Most of these jamokes, they have people who work for them who understand and have questions, but these people don't know what they're asking. They're just reading the script.
Problem. This is a problem. I don't want to change the subject, but I'm going to change something for a split second.
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem with modern journalism.
Libjos.
What you just said is exactly the way a journalist is now taught to operate. In the olden days, journalists were all specialists. There was a guy given the beat, he's a police reporter, and he actually hung out with the cops and learned his job before he became city desk editor. But he was like a guy who was learning. He was a cop before, or in my case, I knew enough about computers. I could write about computers. Modern journalists say, no, you don't need to know anything. You just need to know how to ask questions. Yeah. And you should be, and then if you ask enough questions, you'll figure out the story. And so everyone should be neutral. And I've always found that to be this is the reason that in the government you want to, for example, I keep using myself as an example, but I worked at Union Oil and I went to work for the government as an air pollution inspector in refineries. And it wasn't because I was corrupted by the oil refiners. It's because I actually knew how a refinery operated, as opposed to some dumb guy who comes in, doesn't know anything. And he's supposed to do the same job. He can't do it. It's the same thing with reporters, and it's the same thing with Congress people.
Yeah, these days you have to be able to use SocialNets.
You have to know something.
You got to know the SocialNets, and you have to look hot. Come on.
Yeah, well, that's all it really takes. But it doesn't work. Which is the only reason you listen to the No Agenda show, is because we have a broad range of experiences, and we're both technically oriented, so we can spot this sort of thing. But if we were just the two guys on the street,
and we have white privilege,
we're not gonna get the same material.
We have white privilege. We're perfect.
We have white privilege on top of it, which is really good to have. Anyway, I'm sorry, but that was a little aside. But I think people should always realize that we have a problem in government because of what Adam just said. They don't know what they're talking about.
And worse, the people who actually seem to understand it, who wrote the questions, aren't there for the follow-up. Because then when Zucky, when he goes into his, people want to come to Facebook to share and make connection. Then they say, well, that's not the answer. I don't know what I'm asking. They just don't.
They should be, just like they have some of these guys give testimony before Congress with their lawyer whispering in their ear.
Yeah.
They should have those people sitting right next to them whispering in their ear.
Yeah.
Or use an IFB, for God's sake. Just what's wrong with that?
Yeah, get some comms going, people.
I think that's actually illegal.
Get some comms going.
Get some comms on it. Yeah, get some comms
get some comms on that stuff. Use your pager.
There you get. What's your next one?
Well, no, I don't have. Oh yeah, I do have. I have one.
I have the best one. The only guy that had his act together was Blumenthal.
All right.
Because all he did was he just realized that there was a legal violation of an FTC order that Facebook was just violating over and over.
What do they call it?
I have part of it here. What
is it called?
Sorry?
A convention? No, not a convention. What's the name of the document?
I can't remember. Yeah. But once these guys, and I didn't realize this, by the way, when the guys who did the material that eventually went to the Analytica company,
mm-hmm.
they had their own, and Blumenthal had it. They had their own EULA, which gave them the rights to resell this as many times as they wanted to.
Oh, I'll tell you. Krish Bashirs? He went and he checked, and some of his FaceBag apps that he wrote before 2015 still work. They're still sucking data and data from your friends. Because it's still on.
Oh, well, tell him I need a mailing list. The show needs a mailing list.
Okay.
Jeez.
Maybe he still listens. I don't know. He's pretty Dementia B.
I doubt it.
He's pretty Dementia B.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't get us a mailing list.
The guy who had the Poopcast is Dementia B. Now, you tell me.
Let's play the Blumenthal clip. And by the way, you have to cut this off. For some reason, when I extracted this, I took the whole clip down, 10 minutes worth, which is not all Blumenthal, so you have to stop it when I say so.
It looks like only 11 seconds, John. Or is it 11 minutes?
It's 10 minutes and 11 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my counter is obfuscated. Sorry.
Senator, it certainly appears that we should have been aware that this app developer submitted a term that was in conflict with the rules of the platform.
Well, what happened here was, in effect, willful blindness. It was heedless and reckless, which, in fact, amounted to a violation of the FTC consent decree. Would you agree?
Consent decree. There it is.
No, Senator. My understanding is not that this was a violation of the consent decree. But as I've said a number of times today, I think we need to take a broader view of our responsibility around privacy than just what is mandated in the current laws.
Well, here is my reservation, Mr. Zuckerberg, and I apologize for interrupting you, but my time is limited. We've seen the apology tours before.
From Hillary.
You have refused to acknowledge even an ethical obligation to have reported this violation of the FTC consent decree. And we have letters. We've had contacts with Facebook employees. And I'm going to submit a letter for the record from Sandy Parakilas, with your permission, that indicates not only a lack of resources, but lack of attention to privacy. And so my reservation about your testimony today is that I don't see how you can change your business model unless there are specific rules of the road. Your business model is to monetize user information, to maximize profit over privacy. And unless there are specific rules and requirements enforced by an outside agency, I have no assurance that these kinds of vague commitments are going to produce action. So I want to ask you a couple of very specific questions, and they are based on legislation that I've offered, the My Data Act, legislation that Senator Markey is introducing today, the Consent Act, which I'm joining. Don't you agree that companies ought to be required to provide users with clear, plain information about how their data will be used and specific ability to consent to the use of that information?
You know what I think is interesting? He's asking for something that I don't think is possible, because it's really only your imagination that is the limitation of what can be done with the amount of data that is tracked, right down to accelerometer, how you're holding the phone. It's just, to tell people this is what we're doing with it, you might as well just say, we can do anything. Once we get our AI tools, then the sky is the limit. You can know when someone's, it's just basically anything, especially with movement, location, proximity.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly fair.
I know, it's a gold mine.
Senator, I do generally agree with what you're saying. And I laid that out earlier when I talked about what...
Would you agree to an opt-in as opposed to an opt-out?
Senator, I think that certainly makes sense to discuss, and I think the details around this matter a lot.
Mm-hmm. Would you agree that users should be able to access all of their information?
Senator, yes, of course.
Wrong question.
All the information that you collect as a result of purchases from data brokers as well as tracking.
Oh, yeah, this is good.
Senator, we have already a download your information tool.
Just on the data brokers, I don't know if it's in Blumenthal's thing, but I have to correct myself. They weren't selling to what's the FICO company name again? I keep forgetting it, with a V.
What? Oh, yeah, Veritas or something.
Yeah, sure.
Some
Veritas is exactly the opposite of what they are. Yeah, some V company, not VeriSign, no. But you should have
a note and have it up because you keep referring to it.
Yes, I know, it's odd.
Okay, well,
but anyway, he was buying from them, and he notes in that answer, I don't know if it's in this bit, that is standard ad practice, and of course it is, because that's where your data goes when you sign up for protection. When you sign up for, LifeLock, I'm pretty sure they do it too. They sell your aggregate data. All these credit companies as well, they sell it to the advertisers. So if they know what you're buying, when you're buying it, you're in the Uber, what do you do? They know the credit card guys, they've got the gold mine. And they're selling it, and FaceBag is importing that, or was importing it. There you go.
That allows people...
Experian. See, a V company.
to see and to take out all of the information that they've put into Facebook or that Facebook knows about them. So yes, I agree with that. We already have that.
I have a number of other specific requests that
or was it Victoria's Secret?
You agree to support as part of legislation. I think legislation is necessary. The rules of the road have to be the result of congressional action. Facebook has participated recently in the fight against the scourge of sex trafficking, and the bill that we've just passed, it will be signed into law tomorrow. SESTA, the Stop Exploiting Sex Trafficking Act, was the result of our cooperation. I hope that we can cooperate on this kind of measure as well.
Senator, I look forward to having my team work with you on this.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. Senator Cruz.
Yeah, my teamwork.
Oh, this is good, too. This Cruz coming up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one other thing. Then, and it wasn't really clippable because it came multiple times throughout what I saw. Okay, so you ban an account. What's to say that account, that the corporate entity, just creates an account, another account? No, we ban the corporate entity. Okay, so what if someone lies and creates an account under, on the down low, on the QT, if you don't know it, but they're still the same guy and they've created the account? No, we're pretty sure that's not happening. At what point can we all just agree that that's the same thing? How do you know about what's going on in Myanmar? Ladies and gentlemen, they're reading your messages. They're scanning everything to make sure that you're not some illegal guy who was already banned from the system. They're reading your messages. They're reading it, all of it, with their AI tools. But people are reading it. You can get I think they have AI to flag things that are suspicious.
It's just like the CIA. They probably hire some ex-NSA guys who do that for a living.
Yes, but let's just be honest. He didn't say it, and the congressmen and women and the senators were too stupid to ask. But that's really what's going on, and they admit it. It's not like it's a secret. But let's just put context around when they read your messages. It's not just to give you ads. It's to make sure they can ban you.
Yeah, they can. Right. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting is this idea that this opt-in, opt-out thing is a red herring, and it always has been. And I'll give you the example of why I think this is because all they have to do is hound you. It's like the EULA. You can't use the thing unless you check the box. You can't use this app unless you agree to this. You can't, this is that EULA thing. It all boils down to that.
Yep.
Or the old trickery, which you run into all the time. You have to update your Flash player for Adobe.
Yeah.
So you do that. And, by the way, would you like a copy of McAfee?
Woo!
And it's checked. The box is checked. And so you check it to get rid of it.
And a free browser toolbar.
So they opt you in. So they can opt you in. So it looks like, you opted in. You saw the screen. It showed you that you checked the box.
Yeah.
And of course you have to uncheck the box, which is it's an inconvenience to say the least, especially if you're in a hurry and you forget. And it's happened to me a couple of times where you click you don't notice it. Then you got to stop the whole process so they don't load McAfee on your machine. This whole thing, the whole business is just built on scams.
And I encourage everyone to look at the South Park episode called iCentipod. It was done years ago, and it is about exactly this problem. It is extremely well done, and you will understand.
So now Ted Cruz comes up, and he also brings up Honey and Spice, or whatever those two women's names are. I can't remember. Sugar and Spice.
I sent a pad. Spice and lemon.
Spice and lemon.
Diamond and Spice.
Diamond and Spice.
Diamond and Pearl? Diamond and Pearl?
Cruz really lays into the guy because mostly for political reasons.
Yeah.
And again, never lets him say much because my time is running out. I reclaim my time.
Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk.
Diamond and Silk.
Oh, man. Woohoo! It's the short-term memory that goes first, people.
So you said.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so you want to play this out?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Zuckerberg, welcome. Thank you for being here. Mr. Zuckerberg, does Facebook consider itself a neutral public forum?
Senator, we consider ourselves to be a platform for all ideas.
Let me ask the question again. Does Facebook consider itself to be a neutral public forum? And representatives of your company have given conflicting answers on this. Are you a First Amendment speaker expressing your views, or are you a neutral public forum allowing everyone to speak?
Senator, here's how we think about this. I don't believe that...
Nice performative, by the way. That's one of the better performatives. Here's the way we think about this. Oh, beautiful.
Content that clearly we do not allow. Right? Hate speech, terrorist content, nudity, anything that makes people feel unsafe in the community.
Oh, some nudity.
From that perspective, that's why we generally try to refer to what we do as a platform for all ideas.
Try just because the time is constrained.
Yeah.
It's just a simple question. The predicate for Section 230 immunity under the CDA is that you are a neutral public forum. Do you consider yourself a neutral public forum, or are you engaged in political speech, which is your right under the First Amendment?
Well, Senator, our goal is certainly not to engage in political speech. I'm not that familiar with the specific legal language of the law that you speak to, so I would need to follow up with you on that.
Okay, so hold on a second. First of all, I know a lot about Section 230 because we've just discussed this so much over the years. And for Cruz to say a neutral public forum has nothing to do with what is in the law. And First Amendment speaker expressing your views, all this, it's not in Section 230. Section 230 is important because that's what really allowed the internet to grow the way it is. But it really is about editorializing versus removing stuff. And for then Zuckerberg to say, "Oh, I'm unfamiliar with what you're talking about," that's the whole reason his business exists. So this is bull crap, all of it.
I'm just trying to lay out how broadly I think about this.
Well, Mr. Zuckerberg, I will say there are a great many Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. There have been numerous instances with Facebook. In May of 2016, Gizmodo reported that Facebook had purposely and routinely suppressed conservative stories from trending news, including stories about CPAC, including stories about Mitt Romney, including stories about the Lois Lerner IRS scandal, including stories about Glenn Beck.
I'd forgotten all this good stuff, actually. It was kind of nice to have the summary from the Dimension A side. He's not under oath, is he?
Yeah, of course he is.
I don't think he was under. Did he get sworn in? Truth, whole truth, nothing but?
Well, I didn't see it, but I'm sure
I didn't see that. I saw the beginning on C-SPAN.
You think he just wandered up there?
Troll Room says no. Not under oath.
Well, then he can say whatever he wants.
Right. That is what we're witnessing.
In addition to that, Facebook has initially shut down the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day page.
By the way, I'd agree with that one. Just shut it down.
Has blocked a post of a Fox News reporter. Has blocked over 24 Catholic pages.
Has blocked Christina Curry's side boob.
And most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page with 1.2 million Facebook followers after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community. To a great many Americans, that appears to be a pervasive pattern of political bias. Do you agree with that assessment?
From now on, we're going to call them Raven and Silk. I think that's better.
Senator, let me say a few things about this. First, I understand where that concern is coming from because Facebook and the tech industry are located in Silicon Valley, which is an extremely left-leaning place.
Nice.
And this is actually a concern that I have and that I try to root out at the company is making sure that we don't have any bias in the work that we do. Mm-hmm. And I think it is a fair concern that that people would at least wonder about.
Let me ask this question. Are you aware of any ad or page that has been taken down from Planned Parenthood?
Senator, I'm not, but let me just...
How about MoveOn.org?
Sorry?
How about MoveOn.org?
I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not specifically aware. I mean, I'm not sure.
In your testimony, you say that you have 15 to 20,000 people working on security and content review. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review?
They're awesome.
No, Senator. We do not generally ask people about their political orientation when they're joining the company.
Hold on. Here's where Zuckerberg was, very well primed, but he wasn't
ready for this. Yeah, he wasn't ready for this
because he had a gem. Because what Cruz did was toss him a softball, and what Zuckerberg could have said, Zucky could have said was, I'm sorry, Senator, but it's against the law in the state of California to ask somebody what their political orientation is when we hire them.
Nice one.
And that would have short-circuited Cruz.
No. Better yet, Senator Cruz Senator, I'm not sure, I'm not aware of all the laws in Texas, but in California, see, that's how you do it.
Yeah, well, that would be even better.
Yeah,
you're right.
That would have been just nice.
But just off the top, he doesn't either know this or
Spectrum, bro. Spectrum.
But he could have nailed Cruz right there. But no, he just gets continually bullied by Cruz. But it was fun to watch because I think Cruz was on a roll here.
Yeah, he even said it was fun.
So as CEO, have you ever made hiring or firing decisions based on political positions or what candidates they supported?
No.
Why was Palmer Luckey fired?
Yeah, that was what a trap. What a trap. And here comes one of those crowd guffawing moments.
That is a specific personnel matter that seems like it would be inappropriate to
You just made a specific representation that you didn't make decisions based on political views.
Well,
is that accurate?
I can commit that it was not because of a political view.
Do you know of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review, how many, if any, have ever supported financially a Republican candidate for office?
Senator, I do not know that.
Your testimony says it is not enough that we just connect people. We have to make sure those connections are positive. It says we have to make sure people aren't using their voice to hurt people or spread misinformation. We have a responsibility not just to build tools, to make sure those tools are used for good. Mr. Zuckerberg, do you feel it's your responsibility to assess users whether they are good and positive connections or ones that those 15 to 20,000 people deem unacceptable or deplorable?
Senator, you're asking about me personally?
Nice.
Facebook.
Nice one.
Senator, I think that there are a number of...
Yes?
He slipped in the word deplorable. which is a buzzword.
Yeah. It was well done.
Meaning Trump supporter.
Yeah. Well done.
Things that we would all agree are clearly bad. Foreign interference in our elections, terrorism, self-harm.
Those are about censorship.
I think that you would probably agree that we should remove terrorist propaganda from the service. So that, I agree, I think is clearly bad activity that we want to get down, and we're generally proud.
Do you want to get down? Boom, boom, get down on it.
Of how well we do at that. Now, what I can say, and I do want to get this in before the end here, is that I am very committed to making sure that Facebook is a platform for all ideas. That is a very important founding principle of what we do. We're proud of the discourse and the different ideas that people can share on the service. And that is something that, as long as I'm running the company, I'm going to be committed to making sure is the case.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Do you want to break now? Or you want to keep going?
Sure. I mean, that was pretty good. All
right. He's so proud of himself. Yeah, you can kill it.
And with that, I think we're done.
Well, I do have one more local rap, which is the local rap of the Zuckerberg thing, and let's play that, and then we're done.
Well, and then we're not.
Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg agreed with lawmakers today that regulation of his industry is inevitable as he faced harsh questions by lawmakers during round 2 of a hearing on Capitol Hill.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Good one.
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about.
The questioning follows the Cambridge Analytica scandal that exposed the data of up to 87 million Facebook users. Zuckerberg revealed that his own data was sold.
Okay.
Sure it was.
Now, just a couple things to wrap it up that I remembered. One is, I could not find this clip. A producer sent me the time code on the C-SPANs. I just could not find it. But apparently, at one point, Zucky is asked about intelligence agencies. No. Something about FaceBag, and his answer is, Senator, I cannot see why any intelligence... crap. I got to find this clip. Someone needs to find it for me, because the way it sounded is like he stuttered, including himself as an intelligence agency. That clip I would like, because that would be clip of the day if we could find that. If someone understood it properly. There was another little oopsie from...
it may show up in the database at C-SPAN once this thing is...
Yeah, someone will make a clip out of it probably.
Once the transcript is done.
This is... I think this... What was this on MSNBC? Mike Hufflinger He's the former FaceBag global business marketing head.
Well, I think it is. And what happens when you're trying to innovate, especially at this scale, what happens is you have to have an almost ridiculous amount of optimism to get up in the morning and build the world something that didn't exist before, or certainly didn't exist before at this scale. And then when you do that, you begin to discover that to be truly successful in the long term, you also have to be very vigilant. And I think what we've seen, and I think we've heard it now from Mark very clearly for a few weeks, is that there's been an enormous amount of innovation, and I think that's undeniable, but not...
Invasion.
Yeah, good one.
The truth always wants to come out, doesn't it? Now, in finalizing from my end, I was surprised that my statement, you can't monetize the network, is actually more true than I realized it myself. I thought it was only, but it's really hard to do this with advertising. And just if you're really not contributing to the value network like we have here at No Agenda, you can't just sit on the sidelines and have some infrastructure and scoop everything up. It's some magical formula. It's like the Fibonacci of the internet. You can't monetize it. And if no matter what you try, okay, I'll try by really the most truly Truman-esque method, even that is not working because the people won't stand for it. Eventually, I think that FaceBag will lose. You just can't monetize it.
I don't have a sound effect for laughing, but
why?
I think they've done a fine job of monetizing it already.
It's going to end.
I don't think so, and I don't think people are going to be all kind of, well, yeah, unless there's something else that comes along. Nothing has ever ended unless something came along that did it better.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of GoFundMe projects, Kickstarter projects for all kinds of devices that really are trying to help avoid the tracking. Yeah. Mastodon, I think, still has a future. It wouldn't take much. It would just take the same kind of, the viral news coverage.
It would take much. And what the much is...
Celebrities.
Well, celebrities make a huge difference, but the much really is people actually caring. Well, most people don't care about their own privacy. As far as they're concerned, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so who cares?
Right, but they should stay on FaceBag. That's
and they will.
Oh, and by the way, I figured out who's going to be on the database, the Department of Homeland Security Journo database list and influencers.
Yeah,
it's obvious. Everybody who's verified on Twitter. Boom. Yeah.
Boom.
Of course. They're doing media influencers.
Yeah.
What?
You said the No Agenda show is listed.
Well, because you're verified.
No.
You're verified.
I don't know that they would know that I'm verified and have anything to do with the show. These lists, they put them together just on who won the podcasting awards. Oh, these are probably influencers. Let's just put them on the list.
Sounds like the government to me.
It sounds very just like the government, and that doesn't mean that. What it means, the bad news is it means we're not going to get any new listeners.
Oh, okay. Well, downer. But with that, I would like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C. The C stands for California über alles, Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships at sea. Boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and nights out there.
In the morning to the troll room, noagendastream.com. Nice to see you all there, all the trolls. Also, hold on, where am I going here? I want to thank our artists for episode 1023. That was Warm Handoff, the title of the show. And the cover art was actually people like this a lot. It was the Crazy Unglued, done by Sir Knight of the Living Dead. So it was Crazy Glue and turned into No Agenda Crazy Unglued, and it was really nice, right down to a little Radio Shack price sticker that was $80.08.
Yeah, that was a good piece. It had a lot of it had all the elements of a good piece. It had the little sticker. It had the 808.
I'm just seeing something new in this. On the side, it's odd. It says, it's a little obfuscated by the sticker. It says, small hands, small penis, big red button. Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that the first time.
One.
All this and more inside. Good job, Sir Night of the Living Dead. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was an evergreen from some time ago, a month or two. He may be man overboard by now.
Oh, I hope not. It was good. Really liked it.
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
Do more pieces.
Enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right, we do have some people to thank. We have executive producers, 3 of them, and associate executive producers, 3 of them. We got the 3-3 balance, which is always good.
Very nice.
Steven Struzinski, parts unknown, came in as the top guy with $413.96.
What's this number for?
Isn't that some a combination of, it means something? It's some bite.
Oh, is it half of 1024? No. Of course not.
No, it's not that.
What am I thinking?
Glad to see the No Agenda show and the Unfiltered show playing together as well. ITM John and Adam, that's all he says.
No, playing together well, not playing together as well.
Playing together well.
Playing together well.
And that's all he says.
So we didn't have any 1024 nights. I like the promotion.
Yeah, the promotion was good, but people weren't in the mood.
Okay.
We're going to leave the 1024 nights, the bite night, available for the next year.
Okay.
Sir James Pyre, Sir Wire of the Hidden Jewel in Escondido, came in at $330 and $333. And he says, ITM John and Adam, sucks we can't leave not in PayPal. Sucks we can't leave not in PayPal. We'll try note. You can leave a note in PayPal. I don't know why people can't see that thing. Well, it goes right to it.
I think on the mobile sometimes it might not work.
The mobile may be a problem. Yeah. We'll try by email. Thanks to you both for keeping me and the No Agenda Nation laughing and sane. Please wish my son EJ a happy birthday. He is 14 on the 12th and a longtime listener.
All right.
Please play EJ's jingles today.
His favorite
rules follower.
Bullshit. Sorry about that. That's on the list, but it fired accidentally.
Okay, rule follower, time to stand, no Beatles, and then bullshit.
But I don't know what time to stand is. I don't know what time to. Okay, you have to explain because I'm not sure what that is.
I'm a rule follower, so if the rule is that we have to do it, then I'll do it.
Yeah, no. You're saying yeah, while you're saying no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I don't know why you're saying yeah while saying no.
Yeah, this is so good.
No.
Forgot about this one.
I don't know why you're saying yeah while saying no. Bullshit.
Yeah, no.
You've got karma.
That was nice.
Yeah, you know song is great.
I forgot about it too. Thank you.
Our last executive producer, Stuart Morrison, Sir Stuart. He's been writing in a lot, $301, and there's nothing. His last notice in January, so I have no idea what the deal is with this, what he wants from us. But he can send a note in later.
Thank you very much. He maybe just wants to help us, and he's like, for the guys. No note needed. NJ and K.
Albert Aversa, $222.
And 3.
2 to the 5th donation for episode 2 to the 10th.
Nice.
New homeowner, Goat Karma, because NA Karma works. Shout out to Sir Mike of Wakefield from the ancient Shire in Virginia. Some after EP shape-shifting Jews would be just perfect. Love No Agenda, Al from CC.
I'll put
very cryptic note.
No, I get it. I'll put the shapeshifters in the end of show.
Jobs.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Did she need jobs or just Goat Karma?
Goat Karma.
New homeowner Goat Karma. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Yeah. You've got karma.
It works. We're reliably informed.
Ms. Jamie Christensen in Selburne, Texas.
Ms.
So I said Ms. $210. Ms. Jamie of the Highway, currently in Cleburne, Texas. Here's my 10-bit donation, 2 to the 10th, to the best podcast. To the best podcast in the universe. I'm halfway to damehood and realize I have yet to be de-douched.
Oh, let us do that immediately.
You've been de-douched.
Nice and fresh.
Yeah, she says no jingles, no karma. 73s though, N3E OP.
/5 is probably her mobile. Oh wait, or no, I don't know. Could be part of a club station. Well, 73s and 88s and 88s. November 3, Echo Oscar Papa from Kilo 5 Alpha Charlie Charlie. ITM.
Kevin Drazic in Brentwood, California, 200 even. He'll be our last associate executive producer. Just want to say to you both, I would like to just want to say thank you to you both. I would also like to thank all those who support the show. If one of you can pronounce my name right, I will match this donation. John, not the Southern California Brentwood. This is the Brentwood east of the Mudflats. This is Brentwood. We're here by me. Kevin Drazic is the way I pronounce it, but it's probably, I'll look it up, and
Kevin Drazic.
And I'll bring it up on the next show because he doesn't have a time limit on this. If either one of you can pronounce my name right, I will match this donation. So that's coming on the next show.
You're such a lawyer.
Drazic.
Drazic. All right. Well, thank you very much to our executive producers and our associate executive producers. Even balance, 3-3. Appreciate that very much. And, of course, these credits are real and are recognized, or you can use them anywhere credits are recognized. People like putting it on the LinkedIn. It gets sucked into all of those data brokers. And before you know it, you're known around the universe on all the social nets as an executive producer of the best podcast in the universe, No Agenda Show, episode 1020. And we'll be thanking more people, $50 or above, coming up a little bit later on. And remember, we have another show coming up on Sunday. I will be here still in the lowlands. John, you will also be on the road.
I'll be in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I hope to have a meetup that night. I don't have the location or any details yet, so it'll be sent out an email and tweeted.
Yeah, this is the only thing I've failed at so far. I have not gotten my head around doing a meetup just yet. It
takes a little.
I've been on Cloud 9, you know.
You've been just living the life of Riley there with the king and queen, drinking them cheap whites.
That's right, everybody. Make sure you let everybody know we're all over the world and propagate.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
You'll be very happy to hear this extremely disturbing report, John. You were the one that brought our attention to poop particles in the bathroom, specifically on mobile phones, poop particles.
Yeah, I remember that. Ugh.
Well, a report came out, and I'm sure this could be the paper towel company who's making this, putting this story out there. But
I'll bet.
Bathroom hand dryers, as it turns out, actually suck in the poop particles and then blow it throughout the entire place and onto your hands.
Breathing poop.
And you're standing right there, especially if it's a Dyson.
Yeah, you're breathing poop.
You're breathing poop, people. Man,
you know, this is somebody finally hired a PR. You know, they're killing us here. We're losing sales of our rolls of paper. What are we going to do?
We got to get people off of the blowers.
Yeah,
I know. Poop particles. That's almost like the guy doing the bookit.com, but a big butt of book. It's like, I know. Poop particles. That's right. It's got to be that. It's got to be a native ad. That must have started out that way.
Probably just a promotion. I don't think anyone paid to get these things run. You could just, once you come up with a story like that,
you can launch it.
Documentation. Anyone who's not going to run that story?
Wait a minute. Let me just see who did the survey. Let me check. This is deconstruction. This is worth doing it. Let me say. Oh, man. Boing Boing has a great photo of one of those really horrible, the paint is all, moldy. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they probably sent that out with the press release.
Oh, yeah, it must be. Here, a new study in applied and environmental microbiology. Woohoo! Let's take a look at this. I can't believe I didn't do this. This may be show prep for Sunday. Let me see. What is this publication? This is from the American Society for Microbiology. That sounds legit.
Oh, anything can sound legit. We can do that.
The No Agenda Consulting Group?
American Society for Microbiology?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up too.
Let me see. They have recommendations. Don't they have to? Do you have to read the whole thing to get their?
It's the oldest. It's the oldest and largest single life sciences membership organization in the world. Membership has grown from 59 scientists in 1899 to more than 39,000 members. So that's went through the right group.
It sure seems like it. Here, Department of the participants, or let me see, affiliations, Rutgers and the State University of New Jersey.
Look for Kimberly Clark.
Maybe some Johnson and Johnson. Let me see.
I don't think they make paper products. Crown Zellerback. There's another one to look for.
No, I don't see.
Okay, we'll work on it. We'll get it. We'll nail it. It's going to be easy.
Yeah, it starts off with hot air hand dryers in multiple men's and women's bathrooms and 3 basic science research areas in the academic health center were screened for their deposition on plates of total plates of total bacteria. What does that mean?
Oh, they put some Petri dishes out with some
I thought
agar, and that's all what happened.
I thought the king's lunch was bad. Here they have plates of total bacteria. Some of which were identified in a kanamycin-resistant Bacillus subtilis strain, spores of which are produced in large amounts in one basic science research laboratory. Plates exposed to hand dryer air for 30 seconds average 18 to 16 colonies per plate. But interior hand dryer nozzle surfaces had minimal bacterial levels. Okay. So it really is the blower. This is great. Yeah, that's technology for you. This is your Professor Ted. He was right. This technology is only going to kill us.
So have you written to Ted and see if you can get an interview?
Man, I don't think he's allowed. I think he can do written interviews, but I'm sure he doesn't.
That's bull crap. He should be able to do interviews.
I'm sure he doesn't care.
Start working on it. Well, he might care if he knows that you're a big fan.
We have the love affair kindling. It's been a while, but we know we can always rely on the old horn dog, Matt Lee. I mean, he's always good. He's always good.
He's a flirt.
He's a flirt, and Heather is worth flirting with.
Oh yeah, and he's got a pretty mellifluous voice, good flirt voice.
Heather's she's got to watch it. Her, I should. If we're going to do this.
Now entering executive mode.
Yes, we're entering executive mode, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know.
Yes. You got a good zingo for that.
We got another one here from someone else.
Entering executive mode.
Executive mode. Yes.
We should have an, you guys who did that, do an exit.
We have an exit.
Oh, good.
That's standing by. Yes, that's, of course, Sir Chris. Of course, he has an exit. We're in the executive mode. She's got to watch her resting bitch face, which is a term I didn't come up with. Women call it this. And when she's unhappy with what's going on, and her mouth starts to droop, and it doesn't make, it's not attractive. She has a nice smile, and she has a jolly face, don't you think?
She's pretty. She has a pixie-like demeanor.
Her head is
too big to be kind of a square head. She looks like Betty Boop.
Yeah, okay. That's it. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, but otherwise it's simple. But she was so happy about. She started off her press briefing the other day. Oh, I think we can exit.
Now entering.
Oh, no. I did exit, damn it.
Why are we exiting? I thought we were still going to stay in the mode.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, what am I thinking? Let's stay in the mode.
What are you talking about?
I'm crazy.
You're still talking about her.
Yeah, I forgot.
Okay, so he flirted with her. She flirted
wait.
back.
We're getting to the flirting's coming. But first, she walks in. She's back from vacation. She's super happy. Then she clunks her book down on the table. And what are we always bitching about in these? The
book is the biggest book in the world history. Huge, giant, voluminous book.
Yeah, I'm going to replay that for you because she plops the book down. Damn it. Sorry, I'm failing here. Here we go.
Hi, good afternoon. Nice to see you all. Do you notice anything different?
Yeah, the book's bigger.
Look at this little book. I went on vacation and the book went on a diet.
Her book was
she shrunk the book.
Yeah, the book was really thin. I mean, the binders that they are.
Maybe somebody listens to our show.
Maybe Heather listens to our show. Oh, damn it. The boys didn't like my outfit. Crap. What am I going to do?
About the book size.
Bitching about my book. Okay, I did something about
Thought
it.
you all would enjoy that, so we'll see how this works today.
So, quality has replaced quantity?
I don't.
Oh, there's Matt. Quality has replaced quantity, Heather. Mm-hmm. But he's so smooth. We got to drink beer with this guy.
Today.
So, quality has replaced quantity?
I don't know about that. It's kind of like when my kids go to school and I use that opportunity to clean their room so they don't notice. That's exactly what the past week.
Oh, yes. So nice. Here is now this what happened here, and Matt kind of gets into it with her. There was a reporter was killed by the Israeli Defense Forces, and there's a lot of crap going on now at their border wall, if you haven't followed it. And this reporter, who was wearing a press flak jacket, apparently he was from Hamas, and they shot him. And so you have Saeed, and he asked a question like, what happened here, and how come you guys haven't recognized this, and how come you're not talking about it? How come it's yeah? And she's like, oh well, yes, I'm aware of that report, being very sketchy about it. But Matt's ready to pounce.
Heather, I'm sorry, you said you were aware of reports that a journalist was killed?
Yes.
You haven't been able to confirm it, but the guy was buried over the weekend at a funeral that was quite, it was attended by a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm aware of that, yes.
But not just of reports. I mean, you know that this guy was killed.
That is correct, yes.
And I think you might know a little bit more, maybe not, but because the company that he worked for, that he co-founded and co-owned, had last month been vetted and was approved for a grant from USAID. Now, well, first of all, can you say that is true, that is correct?
My understanding is that he was vetted according to U.S. government guidelines, but I don't have anything more for you on that.
Okay. So would the U.S. government guidelines would allow for a member of Hamas to get funding?
Matt, I don't know the specifics of the case. I've not been involved in any of that, but
okay, well,
if I get anything for you on that, I'll be happy to bring it to you.
The Israeli defense minister has said that although he was wearing a bulletproof vest with the word press clearly bladed on it, he was a member of Hamas, a member of Hamas's armed wing, and with the equivalent rank of captain. And that he was disguising himself as a journalist. And I want to know, I mean, if he was in fact vetted and approved by USAID for a U.S. taxpayer grant, either the USAID vetting process is not very good, or it allows for a potential possible Hamas militant to get U.S. funding, or the Israeli defense minister is wrong.
All I can say is that we're looking into that.
What do you think?
No, they're not.
No.
She is now.
Yeah, was it spook or how did that happen? That seems...
I don't know, but I think Matt nailed something here.
Oh, yeah. He laid the trap. He
I don't see, by the way, I haven't seen this on the WAPO.
WAPO. No. Why would you? I'm just a podcaster.
Now, it's like the guy was Hamas.
Captain.
He somehow got a USAID, American taxpayer grant to be a journalist in the field or something, and the Israelis apparently had enough on this guy. They knew who he was a captain, and they decided to gun him down.
Yes, from 1,200 feet, even though
that's a sniper, you can do that. 1,200 feet's not that far for a good guy.
The point is the press had been told you're safe up to 500 feet. Anything closer than anybody closer than 500 feet is in trouble. So he was back, 1,200 feet. So, yeah, they picked him off, obviously.
Yeah. And let's see. Let's send Ivan over there to shoot him. And so she's acting dumb about this. Yeah. The guy shot in the field.
Yeah, and it was a big funeral.
Press credentials.
Yeah, this is a big press thing. The press, it's one of their own. Come on.
Yeah.
It's It's one of their own. So,
well, it's not one of their own if you consider that half the press is spooks.
Well, yeah, well, that's why they all went to the funeral, I guess. But then Heather just had a little announcement, and it caught my ear.
So great to see you all again. Hope you're having a terrific day. A couple announcements to bring you first. As many of you know, the Qatari Emir is in Washington today. We warmly welcome him, His Highness Qatari Emir Al Thani, to the United States.
Now, isn't this interesting? And this is where we will start to transition to Syria. To have the Qatari Emir in Washington speaking with the President of the United States at the very moment the Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Turkey are all playing shenanigans for their pipeline, because that's what it is. I've really done my checking on this. Trump clearly knows more than he's letting on, and if he's complicit, that's what he should be impeached for. If he actually is going to take this crazy-ass bait. But to have the Qatari Emir in D.C., I thought was perfect timing and kind of confirms that there's something going on beyond what we're being told.
The president met with Emir a short while ago, and Acting Secretary Sullivan will meet with him this afternoon. Qatar is a highly valued strategic partner to the United States and also a friend. You may recall that we held the inaugural U.S.-Qatar Strategic Dialogue here at the State Department on January the 30th, during which we collaborated on defense, counterterrorism, human rights, trade, aviation, and also investment. We're building upon that dialogue and look forward to discussing these and other important issues of bilateral cooperation during the Emir's visit. Since the dialogue and building on our July 2017 counterterrorism MOU, Qatar has continued to advance its counterterrorism and counterterror financing efforts.
Yeah, sure. But I don't know if you have any clips on Syria, but I'd like to dive in a little bit.
I have a few. Let's see what we've got. Let's go back before the more recent phony baloney action in Syria. This is a prequel to that. This is before any of this happened. This was from a couple of days before, and I just carried this. I wanted to bring it up before. I never did. This is the Stuck in Syria clip.
Okay. Yes, got it.
Mission accomplished? As the war drags on, the president telling the Pentagon to finish the battle, even though the military argues ISIS is still a threat, according to 2 U.S. officials. A contentious national security meeting after the president declared Tuesday,
I want to get out. I want to bring our troops back home.
Even as his top commander for the region was saying it is too soon.
The hard part, I think, is in front of us, and that is stabilizing these areas, consolidating our gains.
Tonight, military advisors scrambling to prevent the president from ceding the battlefield to Russia and Iran, whose leaders were meeting on Syria today.
Nothing could be more attractive, certainly to the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, than to have the President of the United States saying, we're on the verge of pulling out, and you own the country.
2 U.S. officials tell NBC News the president reluctantly agreeing to keep troops in Syria, asking how much more time do you need, 6 months, a year? The White House later saying the military mission to eradicate ISIS in Syria is coming to a rapid end, with ISIS being almost completely destroyed. Not true, say current and former officials. ISIS is not defeated and another terror threat looms.
Al-Qaeda's global leadership has begun to shift from Afghanistan and Pakistan to Syria, taking advantage of the conflict, taking advantage of the chaos.
Bull crap.
I had a couple of thoughts during that clip. Maybe I should premise all of this by, and I want to make sure that you're in agreement that this, to me, and everything I've seen, particularly you go back and look at Genie Energy, stock symbol GNE, very interesting chart, went way down. It's going to go up. They have the rights to the Golan Heights. They got a lot of rights to the drilling right in that contested area of Syria. When Syria has 2.6 billion barrels, I mean, they do have some hydrocarbons and minerals that are interesting. But more importantly, there has been this ongoing battle. This is what a lot of this has been about. From Qatar, the gas pipe goes up through Syria, goes into Turkey, then goes into the EU, versus the Russian-Iranian pipeline, which goes Iran, Iraq, Syria, and then there's the deep water port there. They might even consider piping some off to Lebanon. And this is just competition. And the idea that we were pulling out, here's what I think happened. The idea that we're pulling out scared the French because Total Oil, all these guys are in it. That's why the UK and everyone's all for it, and all the warmongers and the neocons.
And the UK is making a big splash.
Right. And I think what might have happened, here's what I wish would happen. This is better. I wish that this, in Trump's world, he went, crap, look what they're doing, because, of course, we have all of a sudden another chemical weapons strike, and I've been receiving YouTube videos and then all kinds of articles all morning from our military connections. And, the gas canister, the chlorine gas canister, there's one that came through the roof and didn't explode. They show it. It has Merck on the side. It's made in Germany. And it was the Saudis likely, or Qataris, or probably the Saudis. They've got our jets. And they were dropping this stuff, and Trump's like, "Oh crap, they're going to try and pull me in with this." And I hope in my world, I really hope he went, "I'm going to do the crazy guy shit. Watch this. I'm going to bomb you with the smartest, fastest shit. I'm going to mess you up, bro." And that's why all of a sudden the Brits and the French went, "Oh man, no, we just wanted to stay there. Don't go all crazy, bro." It's a distinct possibility.
It is a distinct possibility. I hope it is what he did, because otherwise it's like, wait a minute, you're going to leave a minute ago and now you want to bomb the crap out of everybody and start a war.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can come up with. Otherwise, he's taken the bait and he's an idiot. Very possible.
Both scenarios are possible.
Yeah.
It's like George Bush, W.
Yeah.
When he was in office, is he an idiot or the shrewdest man in the world? Because they claim both.
Yeah.
Oh, look, what a dummy. What a dummy. Oh, man, these guys are conniving Antichrist. I mean, give me a break. It's either one or the other.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Now, was Trump smart enough to become president? I think this is what galls everybody, and they can't believe it.
Right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe your thesis is correct. I want to play these 3 short clips from PBS where they had the ex-ambassador to NATO, and he used with some connections to Syria, who came on with the scary stuff, and then we get to hear the PBS NewsHour guy repeat a nonsense claim, and I want to just deconstruct that. But let's play Escalation Potential PBS Syria for background.
Okay.
President Trump tweeted this morning, the missiles are coming. Let's say we do go forward. What are the options for the U.S.?
Well, I think the first thing to consider here is that the options will flow from the purpose of the attack.
Meaning what we want to get out of it.
The objectives, right? And these have to come from a very deliberate process inside the Situation Room, led by National Security Advisor Bolton, and ultimately approved by the president. So once the objectives are set, and here I imagine the objectives are reasonably simple, and that is to punish those responsible for this particular attack, to impose costs, and by way of those costs, attempt to deter future attacks. And if that's the objective, from that flows tasks to the intelligence community, tasks to the diplomatic community, and tasks to the military.
Now, we've heard that the Russians have said if the U.S. strikes, they might strike back. Not only will they try to knock our missiles down, but they might even target the platforms from which we launch those attacks. Is this just Russian saber rattling? How do you seriously do you take this?
Well, the thing that concerns me about this sort of exchange of rhetoric on our side, but then the response on the Russian side, is that you can already see a pattern of escalation, even in the rhetoric. And the challenge here is that such escalatory steps can be imagined to be controllable. From inside the Situation Room, we might imagine that these are discrete, controllable steps. But in practice, they're often out of control, and we can lose control, and they can spiral in an escalatory manner because of miscalculation and misperceptions. So the danger here, I think, is that we launch into something that becomes escalatory.
And that's how World War I started.
Yeah. It's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game.
Now,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to.
I have an. I'm trying to think where my NPR clip fits in. Let's do another one.
I got another one. Here's another follow up, and then I have I can play both these, and it makes some sense.
Okay.
Let's do the escalation potential do nothing.
What do you think about the option of not responding? Is that a viable option?
Well, that's always an option as well. The challenge here is that the rhetoric has already put us on the path towards and setting expectations towards a response. So there's a certain cost by now, if now we were not to do anything.
Okay. This is a pet peeve of mine. What is the cost? The cost is the same thing we complain about bitterly and claim we have nothing to do with it. We're Westerners, so we don't worry about saving face. That's something the Japanese do. That's something the Chinese do. That's something those stupid Asians all do. They have to save face. Oh, I got to save face. We do it more than anybody. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, is that political correctness at a meta level?
It's all save face. Oh, we said we're going to do something and we didn't do it. Oh, my God, we're screwed. Yeah. It's just part of saving face. This is nonsense. He can do whatever he wants to do one way or the other. Now, the last one, I have another pet peeve just to get it out of the way, which is the third clip with his listen carefully to this and you can figure out what I'm going to bitch about.
Curtail this kind of behavior. Is your sense that we can stop Assad from using chemical weapons? I mean, he has done this dozens of times in Syria.
Yeah, you mean stating falsehoods as fact?
Stating falsehoods as fact, but in this case, he's gotten out of control. He says dozens
of times.
Dozens, which is plural for dozen.
24
means
minimum.
It means at least 24 times. It means 24 times.
Now, this is
plus.
Is this an ethical issue as a journo?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a hugely ethical issue. You cannot say somebody did something dozens of times. You know what dozens means? Dozens means minimum of 24. Because plural of dozens has to be 2 dozen at least to be dozens.
Yes.
So he said 24 or more times Assad has dropped chemical weapons on his own people. Really? Well, I want to see the documentation for that. And why does he say something like that? He could have said he's done it before, which is dubious. But he didn't say that. He said dozens of times. This is the news hour. They're supposed to be the highest of the high, the haughty of the haught. Dozens is what he said.
I would hate to see you in the newsroom.
Oh, I'd be bitching and moaning.
Mm-hmm. You'd be good. But you're too expensive.
You're
too expensive.
That would be
too expensive.
Too expensive.
Well, I have two longer clips. And, okay, it really is like 3 minutes, but I feel it's worth it. Just to get a little sense of, we're not the only ones who are crazy and think different about what's going on. And I have people who are texting me and they're afraid. Like, holy crap, what's going to go and what's happening? We're worried. I got kids who are worried. This is the former UK ambassador to Syria, Peter Ford. And he's on BBC Scotland. And the whole thing is really quite good, but that's just, it's 7 or 8 minutes. I had to make choices, kill your darlings. It's how it works. And he's having none of this. And, of course, the BBC guy really doesn't understand his story. And he's going to explain the white helmets to us. He's going to really go down the list.
The worst case is that Trump does launch off with some very unwise multiple attacks on Syria. And given that Russian forces are deeply embedded with Syrian forces, in particular air defense, it's highly likely that scores of Russian soldiers will be killed. If anyone thinks that Russia will take that just lying down, I think they need to think again. Russian planes in the last 12 hours have been buzzing U.S. destroyers in the eastern Mediterranean.
Indeed, it's not just the U.S. president, though, who's appalled by what they've seen in terms of these pictures coming from Douma. We've had condemnation from President Macron, likewise from Prime Minister Theresa May, too. If it isn't the sort of military action that you've just outlined there, what should be the response to this use of chemical weapons if it's proved?
The correct response is obviously, and I think a child could see this, to get inspectors onto the alleged site of the alleged offences
And if it's proved, however, then what? Because, of course, we know that Assad has form on this. We've had investigations previously, and there has been fairly conclusive proof that chemical agents have been used.
I don't think that Assad is in the least worried that the inspectors would find out his guilt, because he's probably not guilty, at least on this occasion. I mean, we have to engage our brains as well as our emotions here, not be stampeded by those videos which are described as being unverified, but which, by dint of being repeated over and over and over again, come to acquire a spurious credibility. We have to ask ourselves, what are the sources of the information on which we're in this stampede to war? They're twofold. And I'm sorry, but the media are falling down on the job in investigating this. The sources are the Syrian American Medical Society, which is a pro-Islamist propaganda outfit based in the United States.
So you're saying these pictures are you saying these pictures have been staged? Are you saying that people haven't died, that people haven't been affected?
Yes. In all probability, the incidents have been staged. Come on, we know how easy it is to fake images for the internet. Look at the images. Anybody could stage those. And then the second source is supposed to be so-called first responders. Who are the first responders?
Yeah.
The guy stepped all over the guy when he said, and he talked about that Islamist group.
Yes.
I don't know if you can back it up to that.
Yeah, I think
but
I can.
He says it's financed by the CIA.
Yeah. The guy's fantastic.
But the guy stepped right on that line. It was very hard to hear.
American Medical Society, which is a pro-Islamist propaganda outfit based in the United States.
So you're saying these pictures have been staged?
I know, but this is welcome to Journo 2018. He says it right there. Financed by CIA.
Yeah, he said, and that would be a jumping off point. But instead, this idiot that is interviewing him is all flustered about something else. He's not even listening, apparently, because something earlier concerned him that he had to bring up in the middle of this and step on the CIA line.
Tinfoil hat. He was like, oh, you're just talking conspiracy theory stuff. Is it Mr. UK ambassador? Who do you think you are?
Are you saying that people haven't died, that people haven't been affected?
Yes, in all probability, the incidents have been staged. Come on, we know how easy it is to fake images for the internet. Look at the images. Anybody could stage those. And then the second source is supposed to be so-called first responders. Who are the first responders? In this case, they are the White Helmets, which is another pro-Islamist jihadi propaganda outfit who on
this
the
is
ground...
an awful lot of effort to discredit Assad, though, isn't it?
Please let me finish this important point. The witnesses to these terrible events are people who themselves were involved in beheadings, literally picking up the body parts.
And
we choose to give credence to testimony from these alleged first responders.
But Assad's reputation is already very difficult. I'm trying to ask you a question to probe the point of what you're making.
You don't allow, the BBC does not allow questions of important detail to be addressed.
We have a short period of time. I'm trying to probe what you're saying. The point is that surely that Assad's reputation is already dented. What would be in the interests of these people to stage these events?
Is that not obvious? A child can see that the intention was to produce the hysteria and now the military action that we are on the point of taking, risking our own safety. What the jihadis have done is jerk our leash. And frankly, for one, I think it's pretty disgusting that we are allowing ourselves to have our own leash jerked by these Islamist fanatics. This is what's going on. And ask yourself, how has it profited Assad? Please engage your brain. Answer the question.
Engage your brain.
How has Assad benefited from all this mayhem? In fact, it's rebounded against him. Why would he do such a thing when he was already winning that the battle for eastern Ghouta was virtually over, why would he choose this moment to do the one thing that was guaranteed to pluck defeat for him from the jaws of victory? Please.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Peter Ford,
he's gone.
Former British ambassador to Syria. The time is 17 minutes to 8.
That's right. Time and weather on the 8s here on the Beeb. Yeah. Cut him off.
Got to get to weather and traffic.
Got to get to traffic. Time and traffic. Temp and traffic on the 8s.
Yeah. M1's clogged.
And what?
The M1's clogged.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Avoid hot tubs, Peter Ford. Small aviation. Don't canoe on any water in Washington, D.C. Yeah. Don't hang out with Hillary. No, maybe not in this case.
That was a good clip. I'll give you a clip of the day for that find.
No, thank you. That's
Clip of the day.
By producers, baby. Producers. We also...
Somebody dug that one up. Well, that's a very... it's an enlightening clip that you think that our news people would even... kind of go
pick up on it.
Everybody else, no, they're all yeah, and let's bomb Iran while we're at it because they're going to go back to their nukes. So let's just bomb people.
Yeah,
I mean the kind of reaction you get. The Democrats are all in, and the Republicans are all in, and let's all just bomb them
because they're all sucking on the teat of big oil.
They're all sucking on and big military.
Yep, it's a twofer.
Yeah,
it's a BOGO.
All kinds of bonuses. So what if World War III breaks out?
Bennies and bonuses.
I got mine. I'm out of here. I got a place in the Bahamas.
Let's go to NPR. Very surprising. Again, one of our producers actually did a couple of clips for this, but I'm just going to play. I think 2. What are the Syrians thinking? What is life like in Damascus? Well, I have millennials in my life who are, being frightened by this. Like, well, hold on, what's going on? It works, this stuff really does work, especially on younger people. Then NPR took to the ground.
So what is your response to the saber rattling from Washington right now?
Okay. Actually, I'm one of many people here in Syria, especially in Damascus. I can talk about Damascus because it's my city where I live.
Yeah.
In general, life is quite normal today. Children went to school. People went to work just like any other normal day. I went to my work also. I went to the gym. Very, very normal day.
You went to spin class.
People are just talking about it. They are making a lot of fun of the whole thing. They are cracking jokes all the time.
They're joking
some people
about
were
it.
saying, yes, a lot of jokes about it.
Like what?
To be honest. Mr. Trump said that the missiles are going to be smart. So people are saying, if the missiles are going to be as smart as Donald Trump, then the whole world must be worried. And many, many other jokes like, okay, let's get ready. Today we will prepare our popcorn and sit on the roof and watch the missiles coming. Some people are taking it a little bit seriously by starting to keep extra food at home, especially bread and rice, which is quite normal at such kind of situations. Some people get a little bit worried. Others are just living a normal life.
I got to say, I'm a little surprised to hear that because we see reports today that some commercial airlines have rerouted their flights away from Syrian airspace, worried about these threats coming from Washington. And that hasn't put people in Damascus on edge?
No, not at all. Not in Damascus. Even in other governorates, like I have colleagues from work. We have different offices all around Syria, and they are all cracking jokes on Facebook.
Have you heard anybody?
Not just cracking jokes. We're cracking jokes on Facebook. That's how much we're laughing about you nut jobs there in America.
Damascus say they support the idea of some kind of attack or retaliation.
Actually, despite that kind of sense of humor that we are having and the sarcasm, people are quite angry, very upset. Of course, we totally differentiate between American people and the American administration. I have to make this very clear.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, if you remember when this whole thing started, you early in our show, like I remember discussing this 8 years ago, there were all these reports of the normality in Damascus.
Even people who were communicating with us.
Yeah, and they were, I don't know what they're talking about. This whole thing still reminds me of the trumped up, it was Guatemala or one of these places where the CIA had created, gotten a hold of the media, and they created this idea that this huge army was coming into town We talked about this. We had some clips from some old agent discussing it, and it worked so well. They were marching into town, and they had convinced everybody that it was this huge army led by this guy nobody ever heard of, who walked into an empty town because everyone abandoned this capital, and they just said, I'm running the place."
Yeah. Was that the comedian?
Bad information used to control the public.
Yes, and of course this could not last. That the NPR guy would not, stand for this too long. I think this is about she's refuting the chemical weapon attack.
Okay, a lot of NGOs, local NGOs, are working near Duma now, receiving those people who are from East Ghouta and from Duma. They are receiving those people who are coming out. Some of them, they want to go to collective shelters. Others, they want to go to Jarablus, to be evacuated to the northern part of Syria, to go to the Jarablus area. So people who are standing there from these local NGOs did not notice any people who are coming out with any symptoms of being attacked by chemical weapons. The Syrian Red Crescent and the International Red Cross are there. And the Syrian Red Crescent is a very reputable non-governmental organization here in Syria. And the Syrian Red Crescent is one of the partners of the United Nations also. So the Syrian Red Crescent confirmed that there are no people who are coming out with any symptoms of being attacked by chemical weapons. And have you seen the videos? Have you seen those rescuers and wet helmets standing there, no masks, no suits, etc., and they are just spraying water at people who are attacked?
I've also seen overwhelming video evidence of people trying very hard to breathe, people not moving.
Exactly, but have you seen videos that were leaked from the white helmets, etc., showing how they are videographing these kind of things and they are just acting?
How do you handle this as an NPR guy?
Namad, I don't really want to debate with you whether there was chemical weapons or not.
I don't want to debate with you.
Holy crap! That guy should be ashamed of himself.
Isn't that great? I don't want to debate that with you. Yeah.
Oh my God! This is what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel sorry for the public that has to. I mean, it's like they can't trust these people. You cannot trust the mainstream media, PBS, CBS, NBC, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post, all these guys. They're all dumb shits.
There you go. I will wrap it up with, and this is also just kind of showing that we're not, if we're crazy, if you think we're crazy and you're listening to this, we're not the only ones. Just so you know, there's more of us. Here she's going to wrap it up.
Where do you place your hope for an end to the violence in Syria?
I hope that just Russia and America start to talk diplomatically and patch up, because this is a problem now between America and Russia. It has nothing to do with Syria. This time the U.S. administration is accusing Russia of using chemical weapons, and we all know the story about that Russian spy, etc., and how things escalated. So now it's just between U.S. and Russia. It has nothing to do with Syria this time.
There you go. Of course not. It's about the dumb pipelines. So
yeah, it is about the pipelines.
So there's only two things.
You know what? I can't believe an NPR guy would defend
about that. Yeah, I knew you would be irked.
Well, defend the videos, these bullcrap. You and I can put these videos together that look like something's going on when nothing's going on. Then you make you affirm that, well, this is taken here or there, and these people are all dead now. I mean, we've seen this. This was years ago when we used to see these videos where the dead person was breathing, or it was the same dead person over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been debunked so many times that you can't trust these videos at all. They're not even worth. You shouldn't even be watching them. But these guys know that there's a bunch of suckers out there, and so they'll keep producing these videos. And then to defend these crappy videos would have there's no provenance. Okay.
Oh, sorry. No. I'm sorry. That fired by accident. I did not do that.
Sure,
I did not do that. No. Seriously, I was actually glad you were talking because something froze because of something I did, and that was a total accident.
Okay. Well, anyway, you get my point.
I totally get your point. It's still frozen. Damn it.
So
yeah, I wanted you to talk long.
It's beyond me and it's all this Dimension B stuff. It's that they've signed up for thinking this way, and they're not going to even bother with trying. I mean, I had it with the lib Joes that we know.
Yeah.
They don't even care to listen to any other side of any argument whatsoever. It's all set in stone. And there was, I forgot, somebody sent us a note. I don't know if I have it for reading today, but they said that they were at the office and somebody said she believes in the Washington Post. It's one of our guys who sent it along. You guys giving us a report from the UK.
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful report.
Very, very nice report. And he says that somebody in the office says they believe in the Washington Post.
Yeah.
It's a great source.
I thought it was from New York. I thought it was from New York.
No, it was New York. You're right, not London. After Gwen Ifill quit, she had to be one of the layers. She was one of the editors, executive editors.
The one we laughed about the hardest turned out to be the best.
Yeah, and once she left she died.
Once she left,
but
she left all right.
This stuff is creeping in. A guy saying dozens. Oh yeah, so there's dozens. They're just bombing left and right. These guys gassing everybody. When you turn around, he's gassing somebody.
I love how you hate that. You're an old print guy.
I'm an old print guy.
You know, you got like a visor.
I do green see-through visor.
But sadly, you know, your LibJo buddies, they just gone completely off the reservation. Do you ever remind them of what is the Hippocratic Oath for journos? For journos, what is the Hippocratic Oath?
There's none.
Really?
I constantly remind them that they're nuts, and recently told them they were both unhinged, and one of them goes, "Huh." You know what I'm talking about.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We have a few people to thank for show 1024, The Bite Show. Richard McCutcheon, $169.26. Sir Mac, Digital Knight of Mead, actually. He was, please have Dr. Pepper available. I guess he's being knighted.
Yes.
Oh, he's going to be knighted. Okay.
Yes, we do have one. So just Dr. Pepper?
Well, yeah. So you mix it with something else.
Yeah, but what do you mix it with? I mean, that's not okay for the round table. It's a little below our standards.
How about adding it ourselves? Adding something. Cayenne.
Okay, Dr.
Cayenne and Dr. Pepper.
And
Cayenne and get it? It's a joke.
No, I don't like it. No, it's got to be something, either Dr. Pepper and some kind of rum or, this, you know, I mean, here's some other tips.
How about Armagnac and Dr. Pepper, which does taste good together?
But, you know, the way it's supposed to go is we have bourbon and bong rips, cold brew coffee and cannabis, boobs and stinky tofu, onion rings and ice cream, English muffins with butter and honey, Captain Morgan's and women with questionable reputation. I mean, you know, something a little more.
Yeah, a duo.
Yeah, a good duo. Dr. Pepper and prunes.
Dr. Pepper and a hand job.
A hand job. No. Dr. Pepper and prunes. How about that?
Okay.
Hand job. John, get your mind out of the gutter.
That was the name. This is a true story. That was the name that Acer was going to give their small pocket computer.
Hand job?
Yeah, this was a story told me by the CEO. Okay. I got a couple stories here.
Wait a minute. 10 years. Honey, 10 years. You've never told me this.
So here I'm having lunch with the guy's American CEO of Acer. And he tells me this story that they were going to, he says he's got to keep an eye on these guys because they're nuts. He says and he tells me they're going to name they're just during the era of the Cassiopeia and these kinds of pocket computers. And just the early days of Palm kind of thing. And Palm computer, of course, has a implication that you use your palm to hold it. So they were going to name this little computer the Hand Job. And he had to put the kibosh on it because nobody, I guess, knew what that meant in Taiwan, which is ironic if you think about those barbershops. So we were yakking away. He tells me this other story, and then he was fired shortly after this.
kidding.
tells me this story, not for the hand job thing. He saved the company. That would have been embarrassing. But he says that this is when Stan Shi was running Acer, and his wife was notorious for kind of really running Acer. Even though, luckily, I got to sit at that table with him and his wife one time. His wife was one of this really sweet, nice lady, but everyone hated her because apparently she was always meddling.
Oh,
which is not unusual in Chinese companies. So he would fly over to Taiwan to do business, and he'd always take a business class or some flight. That always was never the cheapest flight, and she had copies of the San Francisco Chronicle that had all these cheap flights to Taiwan for $200. On Cramamin Airlines.
Good times.
Charters, and she would send him a page from the Chronicle with all these cheap flights circled with a note, why aren't you taking these flights?
Nice.
So he took another page from the paper which had all these incredibly cheap junk computers for $100 or $200. These crappy ones made locally. And so he took and circled all these cheap computers, attached it to her note, and said, because we don't sell our computers for this price.
Wow. If you donated today, I think you certainly received your value. The price of admission right there. Great story.
Within a couple of months, he was gone.
I'm changing it to Dr. Pepper and a quick handy. I think that is more appropriate.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the little Acer computer. I wasn't talking about. I know what you were thinking.
But is she still running the company, even though he's gone?
No. She retired some years ago, and she's went with him, and so no, the company is now run by professionals who aren't doing as well the way I see it.
Well, here's my thought on it. Once we get our two-way pager network up and running, we're going to crowdsource a device, and we're going to call it the hand job.
We could. All right, onward. Sir Uncle Dave, why not? Sir Uncle Dave, perfect. Knight of the One-Armed Bandits in Henderson, Nevada, comes in, and he did send us a note, which if I can find my glasses, I can read, and I will read it because he's a knight. I'm not going to read the whole thing, though. It's too long. You guys are the George Carlin of the small batch podcasting, dissecting how the media and politicians use words to confuse and profit off us slaves. As of Friday, I'm declaring my freedom from being a wage slave by retiring from my job in the gaming industry to a life of travel. But this is a shame because he was working for some of these big gaming companies that make the slot machines.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to do some reading and writing, doing whatever the hell I want, and listening to the best podcast in the universe. As a result,
sounds like he made out.
Well, somebody made out. As a result, I request three things. First, some retirement karma to keep me from mac and cheese lifestyle. Second, being now well established in my 60s with my need for comfy shoes and clothes, that Trump style, a little title change to Sir Uncle Dave, Knight of the Retired Old Farts. Okay, we'll give him a title change.
Nice. Hold on, because I didn't have that on the spreadsheet.
You wouldn't because it's in this note.
Okay, of course not.
Just mailed in. Sir Uncle Dave, Knight of the Retired Old Farts.
Okay.
And can you please play the theremin jingle followed by a goat scream in honor of the theremin I built around 50 years ago as my first electronics project?
You've got karma.
Okay, so wait, give it again. I need to give it again.
Uncle Dave, Knight of the Sir Uncle Dave, Knight of the Old Farts.
Okay. Old farts.
Oh no, the retired old farts. Sorry.
Oh,
Knight of the Retired Old Farts.
Nice.
He's their leader. Russell Girton.
I just had a visual of that. Bunch of dudes. Hey. Chemtrails, man.
$102.40. Needs karma. Put that at the end for you.
Yep.
Brian Pesky Peisk in Saline or Saline, Michigan, 10240. These are our bike guys. 10240, which is
nice.
1040.
Okay, bike
and
guys.
See, I don't think he's on the birthday list.
Peasky?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. 51, April 11th. Yep.
Sir Woody of the Dakotas in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 10240. Christian Schlatter in Untersiegenthal, I guess in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Huh.
The Bite Night newsletter is just priceless, and Zucky looks like a robot.
There's a lot of funny stuff in that newsletter.
It was a great newsletter. I liked it.
I loaded it up with funny material.
Yeah, more great album covers. That is such a hit. You are a podcast marketing genius, my friend.
I am.
Yes.
That's me.
Yeah, people don't realize it, but this is really what makes the network swirl with value.
Kevin McLaughlin in Locust, North Carolina, 10240. Episode 32 squared. He's a Viscount of Luna, Sir. He's a Viscount. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sir Kevin McLaughlin. Sir Patrick Coble, 10240. He couldn't resist. It's been too long since his last donation. And maybe he wants to come down to Biloxi. Salmon Brown in West Winfield, New York. And that ends our 10240 well-wishers. Onward with Tim White. Whoops. Tim White comes in with 100 even. Wayne Todd, 100 from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. A lot of Michigonians in here today, or they have some name. It's not Michigonian. It's something.
Michiganers.
Shannon Brame in Houston. 99.99. Chris Beggio, 73.73. 73's to you.
73.
The Scriptor Alex in Chicago, Illinois, 6666. He sent a note in that for some reason I made a note of it because there's something funny about it. Oh, no. He sent a bunch of jokes in. He wants me to try to slip into the show.
Oh.
I will say this.
About that.
We do have a joke writer we can use for this sort of thing.
Is he that good?
But I will see if I can get any of these in. It's not going to be easy.
He's that good, huh?
Our joke writer, Marty Higgins, is.
Oh, right. He still writes for you?
Once, if I ask him.
Yeah,
Here. Okay, I'm going to do one of the scriptures jokes. Producer pointed out to me that my growth year in tarot cards is number 11, which means strength and lust. And this was convenient because when I read the note, I was craving pickles for some reason. So I went down to the kitchen and opened up a brand new jar of pickles. So there it is, strength and lust.
All right.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah.
But we welcome him to
I think the delivery was pretty off as a joke.
Yeah, well, I would challenge you to. I'll send you the next one, and you can deliver.
Mitzi Shore is already rolling over in her grave.
Dame 17 Scar in Sacramento, California, 66. Sir Stephen McConnell, 66 in Cortland, Ohio. Kyle Mann, 64, parts unknown. Julie K. Smith in Coldwater, Michigan. She sent a card in. She always sends a card in. She's a card sender. Just Julie shows it. Hopefully you notice that my small boobs, which is what her donation was, 6006. She says, hopefully you, by the way, this gave me an idea. Hopefully you'll say that my small boobs aren't lopsided. Oh. My husband will also get some job karma if it worked for me in my last donation. So we'll put some for him at the end.
Of course.
But I was thinking, because she talks about lopsided boobs, with women are always
one's a little. They're all. I mean, you can't be robot symmetry. But each boob is
impossible.
Different.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a donation. If somebody wants to do this, and it should be a woman admitting it, 8006.
You are a donation genius.
I am. 8006.
Michigander is the name. Michigander. Yeah.
Michigander. Yeah.
8006. That is just a human boob.
Human boobs.
And we understand this, and we're okay with it. We've been around. Not our first rodeo.
Per Ingvarsson from Sweden, 5678, says stay unglued. Paul Webb in Twickenham, Middlesex, UK, 5555. Amanda Rossett, 5510 from Vernon Rockville, Connecticut. Aaron Lambert, 5433.
Yeah, and the next one, David Corbanu. He sent us the massive pack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Just how, you should publish that as a giblet or something, or I don't know.
I think I'm going to talk to him about that, because if he can do about 3 of these and stick them together, I think there's money.
That's
to be
something.
made.
What is it? Is that something you put in the newsletter, or no?
Well, I can put it in the newsletter. It's very long. I mean, I would love to read it, but it's a little too long.
Oh no, it's too long. It's even I.
But it's very good. It's very good. Anyway, he came in with $50.33 on a note.
It's almost it reads a bit like a movie treatment.
It reads very well.
Yeah.
It's very well written. He should be a writer.
Doesn't he write stuff already? Why does that ring a bell with me?
Well, he's in advertising.
Oh.
So he might be a copywriter.
A copywriter, yeah.
No, I think he says he's a dude named Ben who works in advertising.
Yeah, dudes named Ben write more than writers.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Drew Mochak in El Cerrito down the street here from me. These are all $50 donors, name and location. Robert Bruckner, Drew Mochak, Joseph Barnes, who's in Oakland and should probably consider coming to the meetup that we're going to have eventually. Dave from Atlanta. Or did I miss somebody? Because I'm skipping down.
Hold on a second. You got Joseph Barnes.
Yeah, and then Dave.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm getting the same skip. Hold on. What is?
Yeah,
what the hell?
Yeah, it makes it impossible.
Emily Nolfo.
Okay, she's number yeah. Okay,
does that make sense?
Well, I see him with my other.
Oh yeah, Dave from Atlanta is underneath her, so it's Joseph Barnes, and then it's Emily Nolfo. Can you read it, or do you want me?
There it is. I got it.
No, why are we reading it? We're not supposed to read $50 notes.
We're not going to read it.
These are the lonely people.
But don't make a long note like this.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, that's just the deal. We're already running late today. I mean, really late.
Yeah, Dave from Atlanta, 50. Robert and Emily. What was her last name?
Emily Nolfo.
I think she had a call out in there. It would be, but maybe not. Robert DeCane in Fairfax, Virginia. Jason Zeisler. Why don't you read her note while I'm finishing?
I am.
Jason Zeisler. Brett Yo in Cantonville, Maryland. Robert Gardner in Parts Unknown. And last is Kyle Meyer in Atlanta, Georgia. I want to thank all these folks for helping us out on the show. 1024, The Bite Show. Another show coming up on Sunday.
Let me see. It's a very, very long note, but she's Mariella.
She's the girlfriend of Colin
Cunningham, the deaf, dumb, blind knight. He sure knows a mean pinball. All right.
We'll read this
I promise I'll read this. Yeah. I mean, this is a lot to digest right there. Okay. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you to our Bite contributors and everybody who came in under $50. That is usually for reasons of anonymity, but there's a lot of subscriptions. And thank you very much for valuing what we're doing. I'm having fun today. If you're having fun, think about us that way. You having fun, John?
I'm having the time of my life.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Here's your list for today. Matthew Zamar celebrates today. Happy birthday. Michael Robbins says happy birthday to Mark Beecham of Melbourne. He'll be celebrating his birthday tomorrow. The day after, on the 14th, Patrick Daly celebrates. James Pyre says happy birthday to his son EJ. He'll be 14 today. And Brian Piesky, 51, Piesky 51, turned that yesterday. We say happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. And we've got a title change.
Turning faces, title changes. Don't want to be a douchebag.
And we thank you very much, Sir Uncle Dave, who now changes his title to become Sir Uncle Dave, Knight of the Retired Old Farts. Thank you for your courage, sir. One knighting to do, John. So if here's my sword.
You got it right here.
I see it. We're spiffy with this one today. Richard McCutcheon, come on up. Next to the the lectern here on the podium, thank you very much for contributing to the No Agenda Show, an amount of $1,000 that places you squarely at the round table with all of our knights and dames, and I am very proud to pronounce the Sir Mac, a digital knight of mead, and for you by request. We have Dr. Pepper and a quick handy, boobs and stinky tofu, cold brew, coffee and cannabis. We've got bourbon and bong rips, trophies and tire smoke, onion rings and ice cream. We've got harlots and haldol. We've got cowgirls and coffin varnish. We got some breast milk and pablum, ginger ale and gerbils, and mutton and mead. NoAgendaNation.com/rings. Please give Eric the Shill all of your information, and he will get that off to you as soon as possible. Okay. Wow, it's been quite a lot of topics today.
Yeah. Well, Zuck took up a lot of time.
Yeah. Are you in a hurry?
Yeah, I'm always in a hurry.
Okay.
Got things to do, people to see.
Babies to kiss. Press some flesh. Got it. This is a little bit of an algo story, just to lighten the mood somewhat. Confirming what I'd heard from the former New York banker from Bloomberg regarding the pricing policy, Uber's new pricing policy. I haven't taken an Uber in a while, but I remember the last time I did, it told me how much it was going to cost right up front. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to take the Luke, so why don't I just take the other one? Because it's the same car. You know, I figured that much out. The difference between their Black or their Lukes or whatever is exactly same car, but the driver may have a minimum 4.5 rating or some crap like that. So I'll take my risks. Here's a Bloomberg report on it.
Uber rolled out upfront pricing for passengers where they just told passengers, you're going to pay this. But drivers were still being told, and the public was still being told, it was routed in the same calculation, time and distance. And what we've learned is that Uber is now doing something else. It's time and distance, and then sort of a route's propensity to pay. Basically, you know, people traveling from point A to point B, you know, we'll run experiments and see how much we think they're going to pay at a given time of day, and then we'll charge them that. And then Uber pockets the extra money that it makes, sometimes reinvesting into driver bonuses or incentives to riders, but they make that extra money instead of passing it on to drivers.
How does Uber decide whether to charge more on a particular route?
I mean, they're using machine learning algorithms, sort of predictive technology to try and figure out, okay, if we charge, you know, a little bit more for UberX, our sort of peer-to-peer service, and a little bit less for Uber Pool from here to there, is that optimizing for our income and for usage? So basically, they're running all these experiments tied to geographies, tied in a time of day, to say people traveling from this place to that place, how much are they willing to pay? And then based on those experiments, set the price.
There's a business model for you.
Gee, sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, I kind of like that Lib Joe. You know, he's like, oh, the drivers are getting screwed. Forget about the drivers. How about the customers? Yeah, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's Curry.
Yeah, they could jack your individual prices up on the individuals, sure.
But the thing is, as a consumer of this product, until I was told, I really didn't think about it. It just didn't even cross my mind. Like, oh, that's just the cost. You know, I figure it's per mile, you know, the typical, but no, it's not per mile. They're just like, he'll pay this much. That's pretty novel.
Yes. All right, well, let's see what else we got. Pot sales in California aren't what they expected.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're doing a little clip blitz on me, I guess.
Have not bought as much marijuana as expected since the drug became legal. The Sacramento Bee reports retailers racked up $339 million in sales in January and February, but that's about $44 million less than analysts had expected. The figures were provided by a Colorado company called BDS Analytics. The state is expected to provide its own sales figures by the middle of next month.
Well, 333 for 2 months. Well, it just got started. It's going to go up. It'll probably be close to 400 million every couple months, which amounts to a lot. 400 times 6 is $2.4 billion. So that's, they get some tax money out of that. These other states have to be looking at that. California, I don't know what they're going to do with this tax money besides, put in people's pockets, but
right.
It sounds reasonable.
I'm going to see if there's anything. I guess the big story that, we're hearing it here, and I didn't really do a full EU report, but I can still do that on Sunday. But this is, I'm sure everyone knows about the story in the U.S. now as well.
You're aware that over the last 3 months, and in particular in the last several days, we've had a unusual spike in horrible homicides, ghastly events that have taken people's lives and devastated other people's lives. We clearly, as a city, have a big problem now. It's only affecting a small proportion of the city, but it is a horrible problem, and it has devastated lives in the last few months. So looking forward, we all need to work together, and from our part, we need to up our efforts, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And this is all about the knife crime in the UK, which is
aren't they having a higher death rate than Detroit?
It's
in London.
Yeah, it's incredible, and they're banning. First of all, they're banning the British equivalent of the assault rifle, which is the zombie knife, which I immediately, when the story broke, ordered one on Amazon, and I know it was delivered because I got the notification because they'll be off Amazon soon enough.
What is it?
You gotta Google Bing it. I mean, whew, sorry, I gotta get. What's wrong with you? I don't know. It's messed up.
You go to the EU. Next thing you know, you're saying Google it.
Yeah, hold on a second. I gotta de-Googlify myself.
What's the what was the name of zombie knife?
Zombie knife. Yeah, zombie knife.
Yeah, one too. What are they good for? Are they a good steak knife?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to Bing it. No, that's the whole song.
I got two.
Bing it. Start the music. No, I just want the jingle. Jeez, how about this one?
What are zombie knives? Are the Street Blaze band in the UK? And I've got the images up, and it looks as though there's 2 or 3 kinds of these. It looks like a company. There's a stiletto, and there's one that looks like an axe.
Yeah, I kind of got one of those, all curvy and stuff.
And there's one that's got a big curved blade. I don't know what good that is.
Yeah, with the curved
one
blade.
That looks like a Klingon knife.
Yeah. I got something. There's a big scala of choices.
There's a whole crap load of these things. They're all different looking. So which one did you get?
Well, now I would have to look up the. You want me to look it up?
Well, I'm kind of interested. Okay, many of these are just nerd knives.
I can look it up.
I like the one that's a saw blade.
Let me see. Well, what I did was I got the one that most accurately represented the British press, their interpretation of the zombie knife. So, okay, here we go. Oh my goodness, it's a good one. Okay, look for the Z Hunter, Zulu as in Zulu Hunter, ZB020 as in Zebra Bravo 020 Zombie Killer Machete. 2-tone full tang blade, green cord wrapped handle, 23 3/4 inch overall.
Now, is this the one I said? This is the one. I think I've got it. Yeah, the Z Hunter. Yeah, it's got a little thing at the end. Like, it could be a steak knife.
Because
the little thing at the end looks like you could cut it. Yeah, well, it's a little big.
See, it's got the serrated edge. It's got the hook. It's got the head slicer.
Yeah, it's got everything you need to kill a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would put it. I think it's a wall decoration.
I think it's a collectible.
Well, there's a lot of guys, usually fat guys, and many of them from Texas, who collect knives.
I better start eating.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you bought that. That sounds like a good use of your money. How much did it cost?
Yeah, it was very cheap. I just closed the window, like $20 or something. It's not that expensive.
Oh, it's a ridiculous deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get a bunch of these, and just a whole bunch of them, and use them as steak knives. It is a little long.
Why don't we just use them as night instead of night rings?
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a thought.
Yeah, well, still thinking
but
about
then they'll be bringing them to meetups and stuff. No, not a good idea.
Nah, yeah, be starting. Yeah, we're going with that.
There's already enough hardware at the meetups.
So I picked up this little mini clip which I think is a classic. Because I don't know why. This is another thing reporters are doing nowadays. They're putting they're like correspondents from the White House, or they're from somewhere, and they do these field reports, and they can't get anybody to say anything to them. So they decide to put stuff on that's really just them yelling at the guy. And you see this also at some of these press conferences where they have a camera on the reporter asking a question. But let's listen to this. This is Mr. Manafort. Did you commit a crime?
Mr. Manafort, did you commit a crime? Any reaction, Mr. Manafort? Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Manafort, did you collude with Russians?
Oh, sorry. That's the wrong one. Where'd it go? Oh, man. Where's my any collusion? Ah! Damn it. Anyway.
Yeah, well.
Too bad.
I got also this. I had Kamala Harris was on Ellen's show, and she said something that she thought was funny about killing people in an elevator. And
I'm sorry. Did I blow your clip?
No. Go ahead. Play it.
Because I saw this has been all over the news here. I guess because Ellen is funny. This has been.
Ellen is? She's funny?
Yeah, they find her very funny. They find her very endearing here.
Oh, she's endearing. That's for sure.
That kind of reminds me, I do have not a funny clip at all, actually. But let me see, where did I put that? It was Loretta Lynch. Did you see her interview with what's his face, Lester?
No, I didn't. I didn't see it. No.
This was about she's kind of refuting that she told Comey not to call the Clinton investigation, but to call it a matter. Have you heard about this?
Which is Comey's testimony?
Yeah, he said she told me call it a matter, not an investigation. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. I'm paraphrasing. This was Lester Holt. I think it was on the Today Show, maybe. And here he asked the question.
James Comey was testifying before Congress, I think it was June of last year, and he noted that you had asked him to call the Clinton probe a matter, not an investigation. But he said it made him feel, I'm paraphrasing, it made him feel strange. He noted it. What did you mean when you said let's call it a matter and not an investigation?
Well, I heard about that testimony. I didn't watch it at the time, but it was brought to my attention later, and people were raising it with me. And my first response was, what is the issue here? I remember specifically talking with him as we talked about sensitive things on a number of occasions. We often would have to discuss sensitive matters, sensitive issues, terrorism and the like, law enforcement policy and the like. And this was a very sensitive investigation, as everyone knew. And the issue when he and I sat down at that time, which I think was early in the fall of 2015, was whether or not we were ready as a department to confirm an investigation going on, when we typically do not confirm or deny investigations into anything, with rare exceptions.
But so Comey says you want to call it the Clinton matter. He wants to call it the Clinton investigation. To the extent, though, that he noted it, that it bothered him, did he go to you and question your credibility with regard to the Clinton case?
Well, I can tell you that, it was a meeting like any other that we had where we talked about the issues. We had a full and open discussion about it.
And he didn't raise any concerns about it?
And concerns were not raised.
Uh-huh. But her eyebrows...
Yeah, she's a liar.
Yeah.
First of all, the big lie is that she didn't watch it at the time.
Right. Oh, I was doing something else.
Really?
Yeah. I had something better to do.
Yeah. She was glued to it. Let's face it. Why wouldn't she be?
Yeah. All right. What else?
I got this is not Eliza Schlesinger, but this is another comic that was just floating around. Somebody just linked me to it. I don't know who she is. But listen to, this is the joke that I keep bringing up, which is, she says it in here, the sexual harassment hall pass.
It'll be like, if a woman walks by, can I even say she looks nice? And man, this is how you cannot get accused of sexual harassment. It works almost all the time. Men, all you have to do is be hot.
I saw this with Tina as she laughs.
Yeah, all you have to do is be hot. You want to not get you get charges of sexual harassment, just be hot.
Oh, man. That's priceless. All right, you want to wrap it up here?
Well, let me get another couple of these shorties here.
All righty.
We have an insane homeless guy. I can run that to the next show because it's pretty funny.
Oh, come on. Man, you've whetted my appetite.
About the insane guy?
Well,
let's do these are local stories, but here's the one that's got all of everybody's attention, which is the little house in Glen, down in Willow Glen, San Jose area. The $800,000 tear down.
New at 10, a burned-out home in San Jose's Willow Glen neighborhood is selling for, get this, $800,000. It's another sign of just how out of whack Bay Area housing prices have become.
Yeah, KTVU's Azneth Smith is at the home on Bird Avenue. Azneth, the realtor says for some home buyers, this actually might be considered a bargain. Seriously?
Yeah, Frank and Heather, the realtor tells me that a bidding war may even happen. It's obvious when you see this house. It needs to be remodeled, possibly torn down, demolished. The realtor tells me the asking price is reasonable given the housing market and its location.
So this thing is a burned out Hulk.
I've seen it.
Oh, you see? I think it's a national story.
Yeah, I saw it. But, I mean, look, I can't call you my friend because you don't have Facebook. But I really should recommend you think about getting out at the top of the market. You know, your place has got to be worth some bucks. Yeah. And if you know, it's a tear down, let's face it.
Yeah.
With all that stuff you got in there, no, you're not going to clean that. Just tear it all down, dispose of everything. But who cares? Yeah, you could be up there.
I can move to Wyoming. The show will really be so much better if I do that.
Washington.
Do you want to?
Okay.
Trying to see what else I got here. There's a couple. You know what? The one story we do have to do this story, and then we can quit.
All right.
And I think I have the lead in. The Trump's lawyer's office was raided.
Yes. This is really odd.
Very odd. I have. First, the introductory clip, which is CNN, which is raiding the lawyer's office. You can play that.
We have breaking news just in. The New York Times just reported that the FBI today raided the offices of President Trump's longtime attorney, Michael Cohen, seizing records related to multiple topics, including on that payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, alleged hush money. The New York Times also reporting that the FBI also seized emails, tax documents, and business records, and that the records include communications between Michael Cohen, the president's attorney, and President Trump, which would likely require a special team of agents to review because conversations with lawyers and clients are protected in most instances. This is a breaking news story. My panel is here with me to discuss the breaking news and react. And let me start with you, Bill Kristol. The fact that the FBI, apparently with a referral from Bob Mueller, the special counsel, is raiding Michael Cohen's office seems rather significant.
And I assume they would need a warrant to do that, which means the judge would have had to have found, and I'm not a lawyer, so don't hold me to this, but some reasonable reason to do this. The FBI can't just go raid offices on its own. So that's interesting what a judge found, that there was some reason to take a look at these records in Cohen's office.
Yeah. What was the reason?
Well, I think I found the reason.
Okay.
Even though everyone's all bent out of shape about this, it seems as if Mueller decided that there was a crime committed and he had to report it. So he gave it over to the FBI and then they busted in and got. And here is the only rationale I think that actually makes sense, as opposed to, they're just doing a fishing expedition to try and get the goods on Trump. I don't think it has anything to do with Trump. I think it's a situation where Mueller, as a law enforcement officer, had to report this particular crime And it's kind of a joke what this crime is, but it's why bust the lawyer? One theory.
It's still unclear what the FBI was looking for. Bank fraud regarding the payment to Stormy Daniels has been suggested. Sources tell Fox News Cohen paid Daniels from an existing home equity line of credit and that he didn't need to tell the bank what the money was for. The $130,000 was then transferred to an LLC solely owned by Cohen and from there wired to an attorney in Beverly Hills.
Wire fraud.
President Trump denies any knowledge of the transaction.
Wire fraud.
Well, I think wire fraud may be in part of it, but I think the main thing is bank fraud.
Oh man!
Because he took out a loan, a home equity loan, which you only do to improve your property, or generally speaking, and maybe you could take it out for any old reason. That's what he claims. Or then wire fraud may be a fallback, but it's something like that. It's got nothing to do with Trump or the Russians.
And there's probably some tax implications somewhere along the line with an LLC in the middle. You can't just pass that all through. Yeah.
He should have just shut up.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you.
He's going on, I got the money, I did it, and Trump had nothing to do with it. Why don't he just shut up?
Yeah.
He's a lawyer. He knows better.
Yeah, well, he's not a good lawyer. And that's
not if he can't shut up.
But that's, it's concerning. This is the people the president surrounds himself with. These are morons. Well, maybe you got an upgrade here or there. Well, I would be remiss without telling you what the American public is not only really interested in, but they're excited.
And, apparently Stormy also says she's talking with federal investigators as well. And she's also coming to see and talk with us on Tuesday for her first live interview. So that'll be interesting.
Stormy!
But they're looking for,
save us!
I suppose they're looking into many things.
Oh, many things.
Well, first of all, Stormy's not her name. And I kind of prefer PBS because they use her name, which I don't even have off the top of my head.
Yes.
Because that's, it seems to me that they keep using her stage name. That's just promotion for her.
Yeah, but they do that with actors, too.
As a fat stripper.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Bobby Zimmerman. Oh, come on.
Well, if there's in the news. Didn't he change his name legally to Bob Dylan?
Yeah, but I'm not sure about that.
She's Stephanie Clifford.
There you go. Okay.
Anyway, we're done.
Wow.
Way over time. Wow.
Well, you know what the biggest problem is?
You can't stop the machine.
No, I can. No, that's not it.
It just keeps recording.
No, we never exited executive mode, but I'll do that at the very end.
Oh.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
So we're just douchebags the whole time. Executive douchebags.
Kind of something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah. All right, everybody. This was your bi-weekly media deconstruction. And
so, Stormy Daniels is they got it, her height's 5'7".
Yeah.
And apparently her weight is 2,010 pounds.
Who says that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong line. Never mind.
Okay. Fine. Coming to you from the Garden of Amsterdam here in Gitmo Nation Lowlands, where maybe you'll still figure out how to do the meetup. Remember us for our coming show. John will be in Biloxi. I'll still be here. That will be on Sunday. Until then, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where they're still kung fu fighting. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We will speak to you again on Sunday right here at No Agenda. And really until then, in the morning, remember us at Dvorak.org. And adios, mofos! I need a cab.
Cab. Here's one. Taxi! Taxi! What happened?
They are big and they are deep. That hits hard.
Right here on The Onion, a report about Kentucky seniors who...
That hits hard.
Freshman basketball players.
Well, this is a stunning development, Ari.
Asking a really important question.
Into a tool.
It's against the law.
But for me personally, the fact that people...
Right here on The Onion, a report about Kentucky seniors who...
Believe that for a minute.
We're at the Kangaroo Pantry.
Stunning development, Ari.
Citizenship deserves everyone who's here.
We have students, faculty, and staff
everyone who's here.
And they submit their food request form.
Shit, I don't agree with it.
According to filling out that form or
into a tool of voters
proceed to fill the order. So
this is extremely dangerous.
Security in college students.
Soon after taking the city of Mosul, they announced on the loudspeaker speakers of mosques.
Stormy has a dress.
It's relatively.
Really sorry for that. Elections on this election, they are big and they are deep.
Question on the manipulated people of color.
Big and they are deep. That hits hard.
We're undercounted. We're not counted.
Personally, the fact that people would not
or whether to
pay utilities.
Shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. A little illustration. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Roll up. It's such an aggravation. The magical shape-shifting Jews. Leaping in a railway station. Got no ticket for no destination. Came to an end before it starts. And all I have is this shopping cart and a master's in the liberal arts. Homeless bound, I wish I weren't. Homeless bound. Home where the junkies spiking. Home where the crazies fighting. Home where my tent lies in the park amongst the trees. But each day they forget it seems about biological human needs. I don't think they thought through the plan, 'cause with the public toilet ban, you don't think of the garbage man and take a crap where you can. Homeless bound, wish I weren't. Homeless bound. Junkies spiking home, where the crazies fighting home, where my tent lies in the park amongst the trees. Tonight I'll sleep in the underpass amongst used syringes and broken glass. I'll dream of a lifeless stark, work 14 hours in a techno park. Walk 4 miles after dark to my trailer behind Walmart. Homeless bound, I wish I weren't. Homeless bound. Home where the junkies spiking. Home where the crazies fighting. Home where my tent lies in the park amongst the trees. All covered now with
We need a jingle or something that goes, entering executive mode.
Now entering executive mode.
Now entering executive mode.
For when we talk about how hot chicks are on TV. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because we don't really normally talk that way, except when we're in executive mode, and what we're doing in reality is ridiculing the people that talk that way.
Yes. At the same time, being very frightening and showing how good we are at it.
We could, well, we are executives of our own show.
Here is the follow-on question. This is about how it really came down, or it went down, what happened first, and the inventory of lost items. I cut most of Shafit's out.
And she looks, I had to say this, because I don't like to criticize people's appearance.
Oh, come on. This is television. Hold on. Now entering executive mode.
just kind of a feeling about the way somebody presents themselves.
Now entering executive mode.
And I'm talking about Gestalt. She's almost a dead ringer for Bill Gates.
Time in executive mode has expired. Please make your way to the exits.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA